Welcome again to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We have a lot of great programming for you tonight. We begin with Vic and Sade, one of the oldest recordings that you'll hear on tonight's program, if not the oldest. Gunsmoke follows, then Dragnet, comedy with our Miss Brooks. Then we have Lum and Abner. Lum and Abner requires a certain sensibility. One has to listen quietly and patiently, as though one were sitting playing checkers in Lum and Abner's country store. You'll see. We follow up with dark fantasy, and then a special treat will be Snow White. This is from the Academy Award program, which ran for about a year. These were half-hour dramatizations of award-winning films. So let's get started.
Well, Sid, it's late afternoon as we enter the small house halfway up on the next block now. And here in the living room, we find Mrs. Victor Gook and young Mr. Rushgook. But at this moment is heard the voice of Mr. Victor Gook. Listen.
You home, say?
Yeah. He knows I'm home. I give him an airy wave of the hand.
Anybody called me on the telephone?
No.
Not a soul?
No, what's the matter?
Oh, I'm in a mess. Move over, Rex. I want to sit down.
Something wrong?
Let me get my breath here. Nobody from the city hall called, huh, Say?
Phone hasn't rung all afternoon.
I tried to get in touch with Mayor Simmons a while ago, but he wasn't in his office. Just a message with his secretary.
What's the matter?
I got to go to Chicago.
Yeah?
With Mr. Rubish. Business. We're to have a conference with two men from New York headquarters tomorrow afternoon. And then on Sunday morning, there's another big shot from Des Moines joining us.
Well,
I couldn't go along, could I, Gus?
Now, I don't want to try to get out of it, kiddo, because it's kind of a feather in my cap for the boss to invite me. He generally takes like me supper with him when he goes on a trip like this.
well, what would you want to try to get out of it for?
What would I want to try to get out of it for?
Oh,
Don't you know?
no.
Sunday's Decoration Day. I'm in charge of the parade.
Oh,
Doggone luck. Why couldn't these company officials get together some other weekend? Any other weekend?
you'll have to miss your parade?
Miss my parade? How can there be a parade?
You mean
Well, I mean, I'm in charge of the parade. I've arranged all the details. I've worked out the itinerary. I've coordinated the line of march. I've done everything. I've got 3 pencil tablets chock full of notes. How can I have a parade without me? It's a mess from beginning to end.
when do you leave for Chicago?
First thing in the morning. We get there around 10 o'clock and meet these New York guys at noon. Then on Sunday we have another conference. I won't be able to get a train out of Chicago till after 1 o'clock. That means I won't pull in here till around 4 in the afternoon. The mayor's going to fall down in a dead faint when he hears this.
Why?
Why? The citizens of this town are looking forward with pride and pleasure to having this Decoration Day parade. Now, there won't be any Decoration Day parade.
Well, goodness, I'd think, after all, a parade is...
I've got the whole thing in my pocket, see, kiddo? Everything's been left exclusively to me. When I'm gone, the whole thing will be paralyzed and at a standstill.
Well, I should think they could have
I'm going to call up again.
Mayor's office?
Yeah, might as well break the sad news and get it over with. I bet he goes right through the ceiling.
Don't be mad at me, Vic, but I bet they go ahead and have their parade.
How can they?
Well, I don't see how one measly little fella can hold up a whole city from enjoying their Decoration Day.
I'm the one little measly fella.
Well, I didn't mean it that way, but goodness, all the people got to do is line up and march out to the cemetery.
Line up and march out to the cemetery. That's your idea of all there is to a parade, huh?
Well, no, but I should think almost anybody...
Do you see this pencil tablet?
Yeah.
And this pencil tablet?
Yeah.
And this one?
Mm-hmm.
They're all plumb full of notes. I've spent hours of work on this thing. Hours of work.
Well, yes, I know. And if you were going to be in town, I bet there'd be the nicest Decoration Day parade that ever was. But since you're not going to be in town, I doubt if they'll call the parade off altogether.
What else can they do?
Line up and march out to the cemetery, just like they always do.
Oh, for gosh sake.
Well, then.
I must say, I admire your attitude, Sade. Your husband comes home facing a desperate crisis, and you think it's funny.
Don't see where the desperate crisis comes in, after all.
Excuse me, I'm going to phone the mayor.
If you want my opinion.
I doubt. 400 or 500, please. Yes. I'm going to come right out with it and not beat around the bush. I'm going to say, Mayor Simmons, a business emergency has arisen that cannot be avoided. I leave for Chicago tomorrow morning and cannot return until Sunday afternoon.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll be a shock to him, and he may get mad. But it's not my fault. I can't help it. He'll just have to appreciate that a man's job comes first.
Uh-huh.
Be a pretty dreary old decoration day around here Sunday without any parade, won't it?
Sure will.
Why don't they answer their dog? Hello, Mayor's office. This is V.R. Gook speaking. Gook. G-O-O-K. I called earlier this afternoon. Yeah. Has Mayor Simmons come back yet? I see. Well, will you be sure to have him phone me the minute he arrives? It's very important. Yes, you have my number. Haha. All right, then. Thanks very much. Bye.
He's probably out shooting some golf. I understand almost
Kiddo,
everything.
there may be a ray of hoop.
Yeah?
Yeah, listen, I can get a train out of Chicago Sunday a little bit after 1 o'clock. Gets me in here around 4.
Well,
Well, how about postponing the parade till then?
till 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Sure. I tell you what, you and Rush could meet me at the station with my lodge robe and my plumed hat and my boots and medals and so forth, and I could change my clothes in a taxicab while we dashed for Mulberry Street. Of course, the paraders would all be notified to be there and ready to march.
They'd never do it.
Who wouldn't?
The people.
What people?
People that march in the parade.
They'd never do what?
Get together that close to supper time and march out to the cemetery.
Why not?
Because they wouldn't. There's picnics on Decoration Day and shows. Besides, who wants to walk clear out to the cemetery in the dark?
Is it dark at 4 o'clock?
It'll be dark by the time you got there.
Don't you think the people would rather have their parade at 4 o'clock in the afternoon than not have any parade at all?
I think they'll have their parade at the regular time.
Without me?
Well, yes.
How can they?
Meet at Mulberry Street at 10 o'clock, line up and march out to the cemetery.
Oh, for gosh sakes, Sade, sometimes I wonder if your head is... Go away, Rush, I'll answer it.
I wasn't going to answer it.
Hello? Yeah? It is Mayor Simmons? Who is it? Oh, well, is the mayor... Huh? What I want with him? I'm V.R. Gook. I'm in charge of the Decoration Day parade. But you mean the mayor don't place my name? Oh, that's right? Well, look, you can tell Mayor Simmons that business takes me out of the city over Sunday, and I will not be able to handle the parade. Yeah. Bye.
Who's that?
Oh, some fathead down at the city hall. Said the mayor didn't place my name. Always thought that mayor was a two-faced half-wit. He got the last vote of mine he'll ever get.
Where are you going?
Out on the back porch steps and breathe some fresh air.
Gov, why don't you let me take your place in the parade?
Oh, go lay down.
I could do it okay. All you have to do is line the people up and march out the cemetery.
You shouldn't tease your father.
I wasn't intending to tease him. I'll get it.
Is that the phone?
Yes.
Hello? Yes, this is the Cook residence. No, this is Rush Cook speaking.
Who is it?
I don't know you. Who? Oh, I see.
Is it for me?
It's at City Hall.
Then it's for me. Hand me the phone.
The fella's talking. Yeah? Huh?
Give me that telephone.
Just a second. I'll connect you with my father. He's the party I think you want to speak to. Here you go.
What's the idea?
No idea to it. Phone rang and you were out of the room, so I answered it just like any human.
Hello? Yes, I'm V.R. Gook. Oh, that's right? Yes, I'd be glad to talk to him. Oh, I see. Haha. Okay. It's the mayor's secretary again. I'm going to talk to the mayor personally in a minute.
He's probably sorry he got the name mixed up.
Yeah. Oh, fine fella, that mayor. Good scout all the way through. Hey, you know what his secretary just told me?
What?
The mayor's going to take charge of the parade himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See what an important job it is?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to suggest to Mayor Simmons that him and I stay up all night tonight.
What for?
So we can pore over all these notes I got. I'll give him the benefit of all the work I've done. He's a smart fella and can follow my instructions to the letter. This town's going to have just as good a parade as if I were here in person. I'll coach Mayor Simmons in the 1001 detail. Hello, Mayor Simmons? Yeah, Secretary just told me. Oh, that was all right. Listen, Mayor, my train don't leave till tomorrow morning. We got all night long to lay our plans out for the parade. Now, I suggest we get together in a hotel room. What? How you mean? Oh, I see. I see, Mayor Simmons. Okay, sir. Bye.
What's the matter?
Fathead.
What'd he say?
The fathead.
Don't he want to stay up all night?
No, he's going to bed.
Isn't he going to take charge of the parade?
Not even going to be at the parade. Got an engagement to play golf.
Well, how's he going to take charge of the parade, then?
Going to put a piece in the newspaper.
Yeah?
Around Dodge City, into the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke, the story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Wanted for murder.
Wanted for murder.
Clay Richards.
Clay Richards.
Age 31.
31.
Height 6 feet. Eyes brown. Hair red.
Eyes brown, hair red. Hey, how'd you like me to print his picture on these notices? I got a woodcut. Well, let me show you. Ernie!
Yeah?
Fetch your Marshal a copy of that front page. Interviewing Clay's wife yesterday, I noticed a tintype on the mantel, their wedding photograph. So, first thing you know, I snitched it.
It's very thoughtful.
Yeah, I'll take it, Ernie.
Here.
And then I propped it up in front of me and carved me this woodcut. Ain't she prime? Ain't she just elegant?
Real elegant.
Good likeness, don't you think? Of course, he was 7 or 8 years younger with the tintype.
Yeah, it's a good
Cuts
likeness.
his hair shorter.
Doesn't show what makes a law-abiding man like him try to rob a bank. Doesn't look like a man who murdered an old cashier and a Chinese cook who just happened to be
Sure sweated
there.
over it, though.
But it's a good
Yes,
likeness.
sir, it is. A picture like this sure dresses up the front page, don't it?
Yeah, it's a little masterpiece, Mr. Hightower, a notable contribution to the culture of Dodge City.
Well, thank you, Marshal. Does fetch the eye, don't it? I'm printing an extra 500 copies of the weekly, and I bet I sell them all. Too bad the cashier's shot went wild. If he'd managed to kill Clay or even wing him, why, I bet I could sell 1,000 extra copies.
We must be thankful for the blessings we do receive, Mr. Hightower.
Oh, I am, Marshal, I am. Why, just before it happened yesterday afternoon, I didn't know what I was going to fill my columns with, and then, like manna from heaven, 2 murders and a bank robbery.
Attempted bank robbery, Mr. Hightower. He turned and ran before he got his hands on so much as $1.
Yes.
Still, as you say, like man.
Dillon,
I'm talking business. What is it, Chester?
Well, it can wait, I guess, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, print Clay's picture on those notices, Mr. Hightower. Now, where were we?
Eyes brown, hair red.
Oh, yes. Also known as Red, Bricktop, and Sorrow. He didn't answer to no other nicknames, did he?
No, that's what they called him.
All right, then in big letters, $400 reward. Dead or alive. And at the bottom, apply Matt Dillon, Marshal, Dodge City. Print 200 copies. How soon can I send Chester over for him?
This afternoon.
Good morning, Mr. Hightower. Chester?
Think those posters will do any good? Richards is probably over the line into Oklahoma or Colorado by now. That strawberry roan of his is the fastest in the county.
He has no money. He panicked and ran out of the bank before he got a penny. I think he'll try to get help from his wife or brother or a friend the first chance he has, maybe tonight. I say he's around here somewhere. I'm sorry I turned on you like that, Chester.
Why, that's all right, Mr. Dillon. Out all night with a posse, no sweet man's bound to get touchy.
No, it's not that. It's the way... It's the way people use a thing like this. The men riding posse last night, they enjoyed it as though they were hunting fox or possum. Hightower back there, he acts like it was a birthday treat, specially gotten up for him. Everybody finds a way to use it. What was it you wanted to tell me?
Oh, I got a kid, a little boy, locked up in the cell. He run away from home back in Cottonwood. Ed Slade turned him over to me when he come through on the stagecoach just now. Kid about 12 years old.
Whose is he?
Widow woman, Miss Bonnie. She runs a boarding house in Cottonwood. Ed says kid's always running away a little while, I guess. He flagged Ed for a ride on the road halfway between there and here. Soon as Ed seen him stand there with his bundle on his shoulder, he knowed what he was up to. So he told the kid he'd help him and then turn him over to us when he got here.
All right, we'll send a telegram to the mother to come fetch you. Well, come on in, Chester, and shut the door.
Mr. Dillon?
You're letting in every horsefly in Kansas.
Mr. Dillon, I think you better cancel the order for them notices.
What?
The Dutchman's coming up the street, and he's leading a strawberry roan, and Clay Richards is draped across his back.
Like a sack of wheat across the saddle. Last time I saw him, 2 days ago, he was standing at the bar laughing his head off. A sack of wheat across the saddle. And followed by half the saloon bums and loafers in town. All right, Chester, make him keep back.
All right, now stand back, you fellas. Come on now, back. Stand back.
Ziegler? How'd it happen, Ziegler?
My goat, my old billy goat, he pushes open the fence last night and runs away.
Forget your goat. What about Clay?
Yeah, I tell you. This morning I go to look for the goat. I walk here, there. Near the river, I see Clay. He sits there. I say, hello, Clay. Wie geht's?
You dirty Dutchman. You no good dog. Clay was your best friend. He helped you buy your farm, so you killed him for your
All right, all of you. Keep back, everybody.
Clay? Me? No, my brother, he was like... We was in the war together. Peter, listen.
You killed him for the war.
Not so. I killed nobody. Not since Gettysburg. Clay is dead already when I find him. I don't even own a pistol.
Ziegler, inside, quick.
Yeah.
Chester, give me a hand with Clay.
All right, all of you. Listen up. Shut up!
I will not tolerate a disturbance. You know me.
I got him, Chester. Take his leg. All right, kick the door shut.
Marshal, I don't kill Clay.
On this table, Chester. What'd you do with Clay's gun? His holster's empty.
Gun? Clay's? I ain't got it. I don't even own one.
Chester, see if it slipped out.
His holster was empty coming up the street. First thing I noticed. Maybe it's over on the...
Another customer? Why, that's 3 in less than a day. Oh, bountiful harvest. My fees this month will keep me in luxury. In luxury.
Doc, I want to have an inquest as soon as possible.
Well, as soon as I finish the autopsy, shouldn't take long with the practice I've had this week, huh? No. Late afternoon all right with you? I'll take him up to my office right now. No, thank you, Chester. I can carry him all by myself here. You just open the door there like a good fella. Yeah, Marshal, tell the city fathers I'd like to make a deal when the corpses are as famous as this one. Back in 53 in San Francisco, a fellow I knew earned a fortune exhibiting the head of Joaquin Murrieta. Tell them if they'll let me keep the remains, I'll do the autopsies for nothing.
Shut the door, Chester. Ziegler, where is it you met Clay on the river?
By the ford. This side by the ford.
Ride out there, Chester, and see if you can find Clay's gun. Maybe he dropped it when he was shot.
I did not shoot Clay.
Sure.
I did not. I had no reason to. I did not.
Now, you listen to me. Maybe you think Dodge has got so big I don't know about everything that goes on here. Well, if you do, you're wrong. If you think I don't know about the bank having an overdue mortgage on your farm, you're wrong. $400 is reason enough for a struggling farmer like you.
No. Could not do such a thing. I am a human being.
To a peace officer, Ziegler, that's enough grounds for suspicion. But whether you did it or not will be decided at your trial. In the meantime, you just stop yammering about it.
Trial? Me?
Even when I shoot somebody, I stand trial. If they find it's justifiable homicide, and they probably will, Clay being a wanted man, then they'll let you off. And if not...
Please, I am permitted to go now.
Go. Are you crazy?
I found this stock. I must look after it.
You sit right down. You want to be lynched? You're trying to get yourself murdered? Have you forgotten about Clay's brother, Adam?
Adam would not believe I shot him.
What difference does it make whether he believes it or not? His brother's been killed. Everybody's looking to him to do something about it, and he knows it. You want me to guess where he is right this minute? He's in one of them saloons lapping up courage to come in here and ask me to give you to him for a present. You want to know who's with him? Every loafer, every bum, every slob in town. Slapping him on the back and telling him what a shame it is. Taking him on to kill you so that they can have some excitement and some fun. Well, maybe you deserve killing, but it's my job to uphold the law, and I'm not letting you out of here.
But
you might spend your time trying to think up a better story. That is, if you intend to stay in this town. All right, now think back. Didn't Clay go for his gun before you shot him?
I tell you, I didn't. If I'm not under arrest, you have no right to keep me here. I got to look after my farm. I go.
All right, Chester, lock him up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon. Come on now, Ziegler. Step out, Sonny. This cage is bespoke.
Who's in there, Chester?
That little old runaway from Cottonwood.
Oh. Yeah. Come over here, son. Come over here to me.
I know who you are.
You do you?
You bet. You're Matt Dillon.
I'm guilty.
I knowed you right off. You just pointed out to me one day back home. Filler says you was the fastest gun thrower in Kansas.
Wyatt Earp wouldn't be awful interested to hear that, I'm afraid.
Filler says you was faster than Older. Faster than Wild Bill Hickok in Hayes City and Bat Masterson or any of them. How many fellas have you killed?
You don't keep score, son. It's something you try to forget.
Not me. Someday I'll be famous like you, and for every filler I kill, I'll put a notch on my gun. People will see those notches, and they'll know they better not try.
Why'd you run away from home, bub? Don't you know your mother's likely to worry about you?
Oh, she won't worry. She's too busy working. You ain't gonna make me go back, are you? You wouldn't do that, would you?
Well...
Because it wouldn't stop me for long. I'd only run away again.
Oh, where are you off to in such a sweat?
Oh, Texas, California, Mexico. Y'all can accomplish things there, not like living in old Cottonwood. If you let me go, someday when I'm famous, you can tell people you helped get me started.
Well, that's a pretty strong inducement. I'll have to think about it for a while. And, look, while I'm making up my mind, I want you to give me your word. Word of a man who'll be famous someday that he won't try to run away from me. Otherwise, I'll have to have Chester lock you up again.
Oh, I'll shake on that.
Good. Chester, I want you to go look for Clay's gun.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
And on the way, stop off and send that telegram. You know?
Hmm? Oh, that telegram. Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon. I'll do
Where's
that
Ziegler?
right.
It's all right, Chester. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
Where's that murdering dog? Oh, there you are. You
Not
know
a single step further, Adam.
I want him, Dillon. He murdered Clay, shot him down without giving him a chance.
How do you know?
Because Clay wouldn't have let anyone catch him off guard except a friend. A friend. And that Dillon, give me that Dutchman.
try to take him.
It's like that?
It's like that.
And it's true what the fellas say. You made a deal with the Dutchman to give him the reward and protect him if he'd kill Clay for you.
That was the deal, was it?
Yeah.
The fellas say why I'd make such a deal?
Dylan, it ain't no longer a secret around town that you and Francie want each other. But Clay was in the way. You had him killed so you could get his wife. Do you deny it?
No. No. It'll serve as well as any other crazy story to work you up.
You think you're safe behind that star, don't you? Well, Clay had friends, lots of them. I'm coming back with them friends, and we'll get the Dutchman and you and anyone else who tries to stop us.
All right, Adam. I'll be waiting.
Yeah. You wait.
I almost seen something pretty just then, didn't I, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, almost. About another pint of whiskey ought to do it.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment, but first, many radio shows win high popularity with the prizes and cash they give away, but there's one show that's tops because the head man gives away as little as possible. What other radio program could it be but the Jack Benny Show? So be listening. Here's the second act of Gunsmoke.
Son?
You say something, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, open that drawer in front of you there. You'll find a small bottle of oil in there. No, the one to the right there. Yeah, that's it. Now, bring a little brush, too, huh?
Here it is.
Thanks, bub.
It's a right nice gun you have.
Yeah, it's not bad, but a little stiff. Just a little stiff.
Don't it have a trigger? I never seen no gun without a trigger before.
Oh, you remove a trigger or tie it back against a guard. And all you have to do is thumb a hammer. Yeah, like that. It's faster. Yeah, that's better now.
Remove the trigger. I remember that.
What in the world for?
Well, I remember everything you told me. About the Texas holster and the spring holster and the double roll and filing off the sight.
It's just me, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, any luck, Chester?
No, sir, not any. I went to the store first and asked Mr. Denton what kind of ammunition Clay Richards used to buy, and he told me Clay had a double-action .44. I scoured that riverbank a half mile each way from the ford, and not a sign of it. I got that telegram off. You know who ought to be here pretty soon. It's only 7-8 miles from...
Is that fire in town?
Funeral services for Mr. Grinnell, the cashier.
So soon?
It's awful hot weather.
Yeah. Any of your guns need oiling, Chester?
I don't think so.
You sure? When Adam left, he said he'd be coming back with some friends.
I know. I stopped at the Oliver Gantry just now to rinse out my mouth. Adam was there talking mighty ugly and mighty big. He's got a sizable following.
When do you think?
Any minute now, Mr. Dillon. They want me to take Bob out of here to one of the hotels, maybe?
I want to see it.
I think you'll be safer here, Chester, behind stone walls and dodging about the streets rubbernecking.
You keep your head down, Sonny, you hear? There's a...
Matt, I gotta talk to you.
She ought to be in mourning. If she cared for Clay at all anymore, she ought to be in black.
Matt.
Oh, Lord, I find her more beautiful all the time.
Matt, have you heard what they're saying?
What are they saying, Francie?
That you and me, that you made Pete Ziegler kill him because of...
I'm sorry that got back to you, Francie.
It's all over Dodge. Adam almost strangled me before they dragged him off.
Francie, I didn't shoot Clay. Francie, I beg you, believe me. That was the...
Shut up, Ziegler.
Shut
up or I'll pump you to death! Francie, is just one of those crazy stories. They needed one and they made one up.
But, Matt, everyone believes it. On my way down here, people were pointing, whispering. Old women clucking their tongues at me. They believe it.
They'll forget it as soon as this is over. They'll remember that even if we once did go with each other, it was finished and done with even before the war ended, before you even met Clay.
No, they won't forget it. For the rest of my life, as long as I stay here...
Hold it a minute, Francie. Yeah, Doc, what is it?
Oh,
Am I interrupted?
What is it, Doc?
Topsy's finished. I examined his liver and lights his...
This is Mrs. Richards, Doc.
Oh, I beg your pardon, ma'am. I'm sure I meant no disrespect for the departed.
Well,
Clay was shot all right, but from the nature of the wound and the coagulation of the blood, I'd say it happened sometime yesterday. I'd say the cashier's bullet didn't go wild after all.
how could a dead man gallop away?
Well, the wound wasn't what killed Clay. The ball hit the rib case and it bounced off. 22 caliber it was. And what did kill him was the stab in the back, right through the spine, inflicted sometime this morning. Now, near as I can judge, by a small blade, 2 or 3 inches long. It could have been a Barlow knife.
Thanks, Doc.
Please accept my condolences, Mr. Richard. You call the inquest anytime you're ready, Marshal.
Chester, close the door.
You see, I didn't do it. I didn't shoot him.
All right, then you stabbed him, maybe. You said you never carried a gun. Look, Francie, go home and give matters a chance to simmer
Matt,
down.
I'm going to ask you for something.
Yeah?
Turn Pete Ziegler out into the street.
What? Francie, they're itching to get their hands on him.
Let him have him. It'll prove that story's a lie, that you didn't make a deal with him. Please, Matt, I have to live here. Sammy, I have to live here. Matt? Matt. Don't look at me like that.
Go home, Francie. Go home or leave town or hang yourself or anything you like. Just go away. Away! Right now.
I bought me a bottle at the Alafragans, Mr. Dillon. Would you care for a drink?
No.
Guess the funeral's over.
There'll be others.
Funny. No, I missed that bell. Awful quiet, ain't it? It's just what...
Just about on schedule. Are you ready, Chester?
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
I'd use a shotgun if I were you. It's more effective when there's a mob to be dealt with.
Oh, yes, sir, I aim to.
Ziegler, and you too, son. If trouble starts, lie down flat on the floor and keep your head down all the time. Don't gawk to see what's happening. You understand me?
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
All right.
Dillon! Come on, Dillon! Come on!
Chester, I want you to stand here in the doorway after I go out, where you can cover the back door and me at the same time.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
All right, Chester. Open the door. It's my duty to warn all of you that you're in the breach of the peace. I've sworn to uphold the law. I've killed men in order to do it, and I'm prepared to do so again.
Give us a Dutchman, Dillon.
Men! I ask you to be sensible and to leave quietly. But if you refuse to listen to reason, if you insist upon being fools, if you've already decided to act like wolves instead of humans, then there's nothing I can say to make you change your minds.
A Dutchman.
All right, you want Peter Ziegler? Well, he's not more than 20 feet behind me, so come on and get him, any of you. One at a time or all at once. Come on. Which one of you wants to die first? You? You, Adam? Well, what do you say, Adam? You let him here. Don't let this star on my coat stop you. Come on. There, I'm not wearing it now. Well, come on, draw, Adam, draw.
You all right, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah. Get his gun.
Man alive, I couldn't even see your hand move.
Marshal? Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell
Doc,
me.
you make one single funny remark and I'll knock you down. You just take him to your office and get to work.
Well, I never do mean to offend, Marshal. In my line of work, well, bodies, they're just so much lumber.
Make all the jokes about him you please, but not to me and not in my hearing. In my line of work, there's nothing humorous about death. Give him a hand, Chester.
No, I can handle it, Marshal. Thank you, just the same.
Can you direct me to the marshal's office?
Yes, ma'am, right here. I'm Marshal Dillon.
Well, I left Cottonwood as soon as I got your telegram. I'm Miss Bonnie. Where's my boy?
Oh, we have him, ma'am, safe and sound. Here, let me help you down. Hitch that horse, Chester. Right this way, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry he put you to all that trouble, Marshal. The truth of the matter is he is a wild one and no mistake. Takes after his father, one scrape after another.
He was no trouble at all. I enjoy children. I like to have them around. Bob? Bob, your ma's here. Son? Chester, where's the boy? Did you let him slip past you?
No, sir, Mr. Dillon. He never got past me. Look, the back door's open.
He seen me and he hightailed it, the devil.
We'll round him up for you, man. Don't worry.
Oh, I don't know why I bother hauling him back. If he's run away once, he's run away 1,000 times. This time he ran because I wouldn't buy him a gun. He wanted a real one. That boy's just gun crazy, I swear. I got him a nice Barlow knife instead.
Barlow knife?
I reckon it didn't signify, and off he runs.
Barlow knife?
The kid. Chester, find that kid.
Marshal, has he done something bad with it? I told him to use it careful. He promised he'd use it careful.
No, never mind, Chester. He's got Clay's strawberry roll, and we'd never catch up to him.
I try to bring him up right. I tell him to be good, but he don't listen. He just don't listen.
Now, calm yourself, ma'am. Just calm yourself.
Here's your little bundle, Mr. Dillon.
What? Yeah, give it to me. That's pretty heavy. Here, you're better at knots than I am. Open it, will you?
From the moment he was born, he's been nothing but tribulation to me.
Now, please, ma'am. What's he got in it, Chester?
A shirt, stockings, piece of sausage, and this.
44 double action.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon. That's Clay's gun. Sonny didn't manage to keep it long, did he?
Well, if he wants a gun that bad, he's bound to get hold of another one somewhere, somehow. Chester, call Mr. Hightower over.
Hey! Hey, Mr. Hightower! Oh. Come on over. Mr. Dillon wants you.
Marshal, could I have please a drink of water?
What? Oh, Ziegler, I forgot all about you. Chester, where are the keys?
Yeah, right there on the desk.
There we are. It'll be safe for you to go home now.
I can go back by the farm.
Yeah, that's right. I'll send for you for the trial.
Oh, danke schön. Danke schön.
Watch where you're going, you dumb...
Excuse me.
Yes, Marshal.
Mr. Hightower, it appears that we can do business after all. Get some paper and a pencil. I want some notices printed.
Fire away.
Wanted for murder.
Wanted for murder.
What's the boy's name?
Bonnie. William Bonnie.
William Bonnie.
William Bonnie.
Age 12. Height about 5 feet.
5 feet.
Hair light. Eyes blue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suppose he's known by any other name.
I know. Everybody just called him Billy. Or the Kid.
Also known as Billy. The Kid.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Walter Newman, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in tonight's cast were Don Diamond, Parley Bear, Harry Bartell, and Howard McNear, with Richard Beals, Paul Dubov, Georgia Ellis, and Mary Lansing. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Those longtime favorites, Amos and Andy, are rising to new heights in their CBS radio series on Sunday nights. Heard on most of these same stations, Amos and Andy find trouble as constantly as ever and make it just as funny and as human as they have for more than 20 years. Be sure to hear Amos and Andy this Sunday, won't you? Right after the Jack Benny Show. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, there's fast, funny quizzing on The Bob Hawk Show every Monday evening. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files, from beginning to end, from crime to punishment. This is the story of your police force in action.
Dragnet.
It was Tuesday, March 25th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide. Detectives in Los Angeles work in pairs. My partner's Ben Romero. He's a sergeant, so am I. My name's Friday. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. I was on the way back from the record bureau, and it was 13 minutes past 11 when I got to room 42. Homicide.
That's a hot shot. Somebody grab it.
I got it, Ed.
At 1245 East Doheny Street,
1245.
2 officers shot. At 1245 East Doheny Street, 2 officers
shot.
What have you got, Friday?
Read it.
2 officers shot. Where's Romero?
Right here, Skipper.
Okay, you've got one to roll on. Get going.
Both Ben and I knew where we were heading. We'd recognized the address. It was the Trapdoor Cafe, a joint in the south end of town that did business with a pretty rough crowd. 13 minutes later, we pulled up in front. 2 patrolmen had the crowd pretty well pushed back. There was a cruiser car in front of the cafe. The car door was open, and an officer was sprawled across the seat. He was conscious but weak, and one of his pant legs was pretty red.
Hello, Sarge.
Hi, how you doing?
I've done better.
Yeah, well, what happened?
Williams and I were cruising. We've been keeping an eye on this cafe lately. Tonight we decided to take a look. And just as we went in, 2 guys left in a hurry, the back door. We followed them out into the alley. It was dark out there, and I called to them. I said, hey, fellas, just a minute, I want to talk to you.
They stopped?
I'll see. One of them whirled. He had a gun in his left hand. He shot both of us.
Left hand, huh?
Williams went down and out. I went down, but I took a shot at them. No effect. And I started crawling out here to the car so I could call in.
You started crawling?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Emerson. Weren't there any people around by that time?
Oh, yeah, quite a few ran out after the shots.
You mean nobody would help you to the car?
That's right.
Did you get a good look at either of the gunmen?
Well, one of them was tall. I think he was a redhead. There was something funny about his nose. That's all I saw. It's too dark out there. Williams was closer. I think he got a good look.
Joe, the other officer, Williams. He's in pretty bad shape.
Is he breathing?
He's still alive, Emerson. I don't know how much time he's got.
Ambulance?
On the way.
Okay, let's round up all the men who are in the cafe. We're taking them in. We took all the men back to the city hall. There were 23 in the Trapdoor Cafe at the time of the shooting. We questioned all of them. One of them said there had been a redhead in the place, but he couldn't describe him. Ben and I left the interrogation room, and we went back to the squad room.
Friday, Romero. Got a minute?
Yeah, Ed. Come on, Ben.
Sit down.
Okay.
Did you get anything from those people you questioned?
Nothing we could use.
How's Williams?
It's pretty bad.
When do they operate?
As soon as he comes out of shock. Probably in the morning.
You boys will be there.
Yeah, we will.
When the surgeon digs that slug out, get it and mark it for evidence.
Yeah. Skipper, them two men shot without asking any questions. They must be hot.
Yeah, same thing occurred to me.
When we get that slug, the ballistics can tell us whether that gun's been used on other jobs.
We got enough of their modus operandi to have the statistician give us a run-through on the IBM now.
One of them is left-handed, and he shoots quick.
Okay, be in surgery tomorrow morning at 9.
Neither Ben or I said much on the way home, but we were both thinking the same thing. I knew the chief was thinking it, too. Here were two men who'd shot a couple of police officers without asking any questions. Now, I suppose you've heard a lot of stories about what the force thinks of cop killers. Sure, we don't like to lose our friends and partners any better than anybody else would. Why not figure it this way? If these two guys would gun a couple of armed police officers, do you think they'd hesitate to shoot you, the unarmed citizen? The next morning at 9 o'clock, Ben and I had scrubbed up and we were in surgery. Williams was on the table. The surgeon started in. A lot of minutes later, he got the slug. As for Williams, they took out 7 feet of his intestine and said he might pull through.
Joe, here's the report from ballistics. The slug they took out of Williams come from a .44 Smith & Wesson. The same gun was used in a liquor store killing about a month ago.
You call the statistician?
Yeah, She's running all the cards on previous shooting through the IBM machine. She ought to be through about now. Let's take a look.
Okay, come on. Hi, Helen.
Just a second.
Okay.
Well, that's it, boys. These cards will give you all the shootings pulled by 2 men on foot who shot quick, one of them left-handed.
Right.
They're all yours.
You sure can tell a lot from just a bunch of little holes in these cards, can't you?
I can't, but this IBM machine can.
Never ceases to amaze me.
Okay, shall we check the cards, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Wait a minute, Ben. Here we are.
Huh?
Yeah. Here's that liquor store killing ballistics tied the Smith & Wesson in on.
Same gun that Emerson Williams was shot with?
Well, it checks out. The liquor store was in the same neighborhood as the Trapdoor Cafe.
Same gun, huh?
Got to be.
How long ago?
A month ago, yeah. Ben, take the DR number off this card and let's pull the crime report on that job. We pulled the crime report out of the files. It said that there was only one witness to that liquor store killing a month ago. That witness was a woman.
Miss Forbes, I'm sorry to disturb you like this, but we'd like to ask some questions about that liquor store killing you witness a little over a month ago.
Well, I told the police everything I knew about it then.
Yeah, we know, but maybe you wouldn't mind telling us again, huh?
Oh, no, I guess not. I've been trying to forget it, to tell the truth. It was pretty terrible, and I really didn't see so very much because I was awful scared.
I understand. But try to describe again just what happened, will you?
Well, it was about 10 o'clock at night. I was walking down the street toward home when I realized I was all out of cigarettes. Well, I was right in front of the liquor store then, so I went in. The clerk was behind the counter, and there were 2 men standing there arguing.
What's the idea of changing your mind? I thought we was going to get bourbon.
No, let's get the wine.
I want bourbon.
Costs too much. Wine's good enough.
The rest of them want bourbon, too. We better talk to them.
Well, okay. We'll be back when we make up our mind, mister.
2 men walked out of the store, and the clerk smiled at me and shrugged his shoulders. I bought a pack of cigarettes and turned to leave. But just then the 2 men came back in again, and each of them had a gun in his hand.
This is a stick-up, mister.
The clerk just sort of crumpled to the floor. I couldn't believe my eyes, but that's just how it happened. The men said this is a stick-up, and then they shot him right away.
Get over against the wall, lady, or you'll get the same.
One of them punched a no sale on the cash register. I was shaking so I almost caved in. He scooped the money out of the drawer and stuffed it into his pocket. And then the other one went over to where the liquor clerk was lying face down. He knelt down beside the clerk and he put his gun against the clerk's spine. Then they both ran out of the store. Oh, it was terrible. That clerk, he was lying there helpless and wounded, and they deliberately...
Yeah, Miss Forbes, I understand.
Oh, Miss Forbes, you said that both of the men had guns.
Yes. One of the guns was black and the other was sort of fancy looking.
What do you mean, Miss Forbes?
Well, it was real shiny.
Nickel-plated?
I wouldn't know about that, but it was shiny.
There were 2 guns, huh?
Yes.
Well, now about the men themselves.
Well, I was so scared their faces just didn't register with me. The one who shot the clerk in the back was sort of stocky. That's about the best I can do.
Well, you mentioned in the report that one of the men was left-handed.
Yes, I do remember that.
Uh-huh. Look, Miss Forbes, this is very important to us. One of the men was a redhead?
Redhead? Why, no, I didn't see any redhead.
Skipper, me and Joe's run right smack into a stone wall on this thing.
What's the complication?
Well, there's more than one, Ed. In the first place, we know that the .44 Smith & Wesson was used in both shootings, but the descriptions of the men involved don't check.
Police officer Emerson said he thought the man that shot him and Williams outside the Trapdoor Cafe was a tall, left-handed redhead. Said there's something funny about his nose.
You think Williams got a better look at him?
Well, probably did, but Williams isn't strong enough to talk yet.
And a girl that witnessed the liquor store killing a month ago said that one of those men was left-handed. But she said neither of them was a redhead.
And on top of all that, now we've got 2 guns to worry about. The girl mentioned 2 guns, so we checked the autopsy report on that liquor clerk. And, Ed, the bullet that actually killed him came from a .32-20, not a .44 Smith & Wesson.
That fact didn't get any publicity at the time, did it?
No, it didn't.
Okay. We won't give it any publicity now, either. We'll allow down it's just the .44 Smith & Wesson we're after. Because if whoever owns the .32-20 finds out it's hot, we'll never get it. Anything else?
Well, we sent teletypes to all outlying stations in neighboring cities. Told them if they get any red-headed suspects, no matter what charge they got them on, to hold them for questioning.
Yeah. Now, how about this .32-20, the actual murder weapon? Any leads on it?
We've got one, Ed. We've been checking the records, and we discovered that 4 hours after the liquor store killing, a taxi driver in the neighborhood was shot and robbed.
Slug was pretty well mashed, but there was enough to tell it was from a .32-20. So we're going over to question the taxi driver now.
Good. Well, I think you boys are on the right trail. So far, what we've got is mostly unrelated facts, but sooner or later, those facts have all got to tie in at some point along the line. Find that point.
Yeah, find the point. Find the tie-in. Well, Ben and I went over to see the taxi driver, a guy who was living on borrowed time.
Yeah, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning when it happened. I got a call to pick up a fare near 105th and Avalon, you know, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I got there, somebody came over, pulled open my cab door and said, "This is a stick-up." Then blew it. You let me have it.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah, just like that.
Same deal as others, Joe. Itchy trigger finger.
Yeah. Did you get any kind of a look at the fella?
Look, no, it was too dark.
Uh-huh.
Hey, according to the report, you got shot in the chest.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you're maybe wondering how come I'm still alive, huh? I'll tell you, pal, it's like something you'd see in a bad movie, you know? I'm carrying a few silver dollars with me, 9 of them to be exact. So I decided to stick them in my breast pocket. Well, mister, that just saved my life. The slug hit them silver dollars.
It's one for the book, huh?
Yeah, you said it.
Well, thanks very much. Say, incidentally, we had a little trouble finding you today. You weren't at the stand you operated out of last month.
Well, look, I'm not only not at my usual stand, I'm not driving a hack no more.
Oh?
Look, after what happened, are you kidding? No, I don't want to push my luck any further than it's been pushed. Yeah, I figure I had it, you know?
And about that time, Ben and I were beginning to figure we'd had it. We were getting nowhere fast. We had a few informants nosing around, but so far they hadn't come up with any leads. Well, Ben and I followed up all the teletypes that poured in. We just got back from Santa Ana, where we'd been questioning a red-headed suspect, and we'd flopped in the squad room when Chief Backstrand's door opened.
Friday. Romero. Got a minute?
Yeah, Skipper.
Any luck with the Santa Ana Redheads?
No, none at all.
Well, I guess you haven't heard the latest.
We just now got back in town, Skipper.
Early this morning, another cab driver got shot.
What?
Yeah. Man came up to his taxi, opened the door, said, "This is a stick-up," and shot him. Bullet went through one leg and into the other, but the driver managed to start his cab and drove over to a cafe. He called in from there.
Boys recovered the slug?
Yeah. It came from the same .44 Smith & Wesson that was used in the other 2 jobs.
The cab driver get a look at the gunman?
Yeah, briefly.
Was it the redhead?
No.
Oh, the stocky guy.
He wasn't redheaded and he wasn't stocky. That's all the driver knows.
Well, that's great.
Skipper, this is beginning to sound like a Gun of the Month club. You reckon somebody's renting them guns out?
Well, they're passing the guns around all right, but I think they're working together. The way they operate indicates that.
Yeah, the trigger-happy routine.
Killing is apparently more than a business to them. It's pleasure, too. That's why we've got to get to them fast. Come over here.
All right. Come on, Ben.
Here. Take a look at this map.
Uh-huh.
Here's the Trapdoor Cafe, and over here's the liquor store. And down here is where the first cab driver got shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right here's where the second one got it. All of the shootings have taken place within an area of 10 square blocks. Okay. Tonight we're going to throw a blockade around that whole area.
Good.
It'll go into effect at 10 p.m.
At 9:45 p.m., cars and officers started drifting into the area by twos and threes. And at 10, when Backstrand, Ben, and I arrived, the whole area was sewed up tighter than a tick.
Is now code 3. Pacific Ambulance
Davis?
1.
Gotcha.
Call to
All set?
All set. We got a primary line and a secondary line. If anyone tries to make a break, we'll pick them up in the secondary.
Okay. Friday and Romero here will cruise around the area with me. Go to work, men.
Every car in the area was shaken down. The same process was also followed on all persons on foot. The blockade went on all night. By the end of that time, we'd brought in 217 suspects. 26 of them were redheads.
What's your name?
Henry Wagner.
Where do you work?
Lumber yard.
Which one?
First star.
What time did you get through work last night?
About 6, I guess.
What'd you do then?
Had some dinner.
Where?
Harry's grill.
Then what?
Shot a little pool. Look, I tell you, I ain't done nothing.
Now, let's go back to the day before yesterday. Did you work at...
And that's the way it went all day long. We shot question after question at them, working them gradually back to the days on which the shootings had taken place. When it was all over, we got 6 men wanted in other cities on various charges. We got quite an assortment of guns and knives. But as far as the shootings were concerned, we got nothing.
Well, I guess that's the last of them.
Oh, I was running out of questions there at the end.
You two boys better go on home, get some sleep.
Well, I was kind of figuring on checking back over the reports to see if we might have overlooked something.
I said go on home. You two boys have been at it for 32 hours straight. Look at you. You're both so groggy you can hardly stand up. You need sleep. It's 4 p.m. now. Don't come back until 10 p.m.
When I walked into the squad room at 10, Ben was already there. An informant had just phoned in a new lead. He told Ben he'd heard about a gang that had been hanging out down around the DeVere bungalow court in the south end of town. We knew that the DeVere was close to the Trapdoor Cafe, so we went over to talk to the manager.
Joe, I've been meaning to ask you. You checked on how Williams is getting along?
Yeah, I did. I called the hospital this afternoon. It's going to be all right.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, manager's office. Still got a light on.
Yeah?
I'm Sergeant Friday, police. This is Sergeant Romero.
Yeah?
We'd like a little information.
Why, sure. Come in.
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
Well, did you hear anything about a gang that hangs out down around here anywhere?
Gang? Why, no.
How about your tenants here? Any of them ever been in trouble, to your knowledge?
No. This ain't exactly the best neighborhood in town, but we try to keep things under control. Once in a while, one of them will get out of line, but when that happens, we heave them out of here.
You heaved anybody out lately?
Yeah, I did. A fellow and his wife a few weeks ago. They had a fight in one of the bungalows. She took a shot at him, but she missed. Party by the name of Stuba, Carl Stuba.
What did this Stuba look like?
Oh, sort of tall, skinny.
Was he a redhead?
No.
Now, we'd like to take a look at that bungalow that he lived in.
Sure. Help yourselves. Down the end there, number 5. Still vacant.
Well, I guess that does it. Stuba didn't leave a thing behind. Matter of fact, we don't have anything to prove that this Stuba's tied in at all. We're only working on a hunch.
Hey, Joe, look.
Where?
Up on the wall there, just by the window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that plaster there, it's newer than the rest. You got a knife?
I sure have, boy, and I'm carving. That manager'd be awful unhappy with me if he was here.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, it might. Hey, Joe, here it is. A slug. They plastered right over it.
Okay, dig it out and let's hope it matches. It matched. The slug from the wall came from the same .44 Smith & Wesson that had been used in the other shootings. So now we had a name to work on, Carl Stuba. But he'd done a good job of dropping out of sight. Well, the next day, Ben thought he had another lead.
I've just been talking to another informant, Joe. He says he heard that there's a fella down in that neighborhood been trying to sell a gun lately.
What kind of a gun?
Nickel-plated with steer horn handles.
Nickel-plated? Well, maybe that's our .44 Smith & Wesson.
Maybe.
Did the informant know who this man was?
Said the feller's name was Alonzo.
Yeah. Alonzo who?
Just Alonzo. That's all he knew.
So now we had two names, Stuba and Alonzo, but no men to go with them. So we went back to making the rounds of the substations, interviewing red-headed suspects. We took a few of them to Williams, who was home from the hospital by now, but he couldn't identify any of them as the man who shot him. Still, we kept checking. Finally, we got around to the 77th Street station. We questioned the suspects they were holding there, and we just started to leave when one of the officers called us.
Hey, Sarge, we're holding somebody else you might want to look at.
Redhead?
No.
What's the charge?
Suspicion of burglary. Small job.
Oh, I don't know. What do you think, Ben?
What's special about him?
He lives in the same neighborhood where those shootings took place.
All right. Where you got him?
Down here.
Did he admit anything?
No. He's pretty surly. Here we are.
Thanks. Hi.
What do you want?
I'm Sergeant Friday. This is Sergeant Romero. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Look, I already told the other cops all I know. I didn't steal no radio from that jerk.
What's your name?
We've been through all that once.
Come on, what's your name?
Jackson. Alonzo Jackson.
Alonzo. I looked at Ben, and Ben looked at me. This could be the Alonzo who'd been trying to peddle that Smith & Wesson. Ben and I both knew here was one suspect we'd have to be real careful with.
Alonzo, according to the records, this burglary you're suspected of took place on the night of the 27th.
Look, how many times do I have to tell you guys they didn't have anything to do with it?
You got an alibi for that night?
Sure, I got an alibi. I was out with a couple of friends, I can tell you.
What's your friends' names, Alonzo?
One of them's Crandall, the other Stuba.
Stuba, the guy who used to live in the bungalow court. Well, we told Alonzo he'd have to produce his two friends to give him an alibi for the burglary charge, and he bit. He went with us, and he pointed out where Stuba was living now. No wonder we hadn't been able to find him. It was a little shack at the back of a lot behind two houses. We thought it was a chicken coop at first. We took Alonzo back to the station, then we picked up Stuba. He was surprised to see us and not very happy. We took him in. Next, Alonzo gave us Crandall's address.
Yeah?
Mr. Crandall in?
No.
Will he be back soon?
I don't know. Who are you?
Sergeant Friday, Sergeant Romero, police.
What do you want with him?
Oh, nothing important, lady. We just wanted him as a witness.
Oh. Well, I don't know just when he'll be back. Probably an hour or two.
Okay, thank you.
We went down the street away, and we staked out in the car. We sat there for about 5 hours, and then Ben nudged me in the ribs.
Hey, Joe.
Huh?
Joe, take a look. Coming along the sidewalk.
Yeah, and he's got red hair. Come on. Crandall.
Huh?
Your name Crandall?
Who are you?
Friday Romero, police.
Police? What do you want with me? I haven't done nothing.
Well, then you got nothing in the world to worry about. Come on.
We questioned Crandall for an hour, but he wouldn't give an inch. Denied everything. Then we put him in a car, and we drove over to Officer Williams' house. I left Ben in the living room with Crandall, while I went in Williams' bedroom.
Hello, Sarge.
Hi, Williams. How you doing?
A little better, I think.
That's fine. Look, we've got another redhead outside.
Bring him in.
Okay. All right, Crandall, come on in here.
Who's in there? Why'd you bring me over here?
Come on in here. How about it, Williams?
That's the guy.
No, I'm
That's
not.
the guy that shot me.
Well, Crandall?
No.
Yeah.
It was an accident. I didn't mean to shoot him. It was an accident.
Once Crandall got started, he talked his head off. He also admitted being in on the liquor store killing, but insisted he was only the lookout. We took him back to the station and got his whole story down on a tape recorder. Yeah, he was left-handed. Then we went back to Alonzo, who didn't know we had Crandall's confession. We met the chief in the hall outside the room where they were holding Alonzo.
About ready to tie the knot?
Oh, hope so, Chief. But Alonzo hasn't given any yet, and we still haven't found those guns.
We've got one of them.
Which one?
The Smith & Wesson. Stuba popped about that one 10 minutes ago. Said he left it with his girl. A couple of the boys are on their way over to get it now.
That's good, Ed. That leaves just the 32-20.
You haven't mentioned the 32-20 to Alonzo, have you?
No. He still thinks we're after that Smith & Wesson, and that's the way we're going to play it right now.
Go ahead.
Look, how much longer are you guys going to hold me here? Didn't you check with those friends of mine?
Alonzo, we got a tip that you've been trying to sell a gun lately.
A gun?
Yeah, 44 Smith & Wesson.
Oh. No, it's not true.
That Smith & Wesson's been used in a couple of robbery jobs this month, and we think it's your gun.
That's a lie.
Any proof of that?
Why, yeah. Sure, I got proof of that. I used to have a gun, but it wasn't a Smith & Wesson. Look, if I tell you where it is, that ought to convince you, shouldn't it?
It'll help things.
Okay. I sold it to a neighbor of mine. He gave me $7. I'll give you his address.
You sure it's not a Smith & Wesson?
Sure, I'm sure. It's a 32-20.
Yeah, it worked. We went to the neighbor's address, and he admitted having bought the 32-20, but said he'd lent it to a friend who'd never returned it. The friend had hocked the gun to a barber. The barber gave him $15 and a haircut for it. We finally got it from the barber, and we came back to the station.
I'm all set, Joe. I'll be in the next room. Just give me the nod.
Okay. Hello, Alonzo.
Hey, you got the gun.
Yeah, we got the gun.
Well, now maybe you'll believe I'm on the level. Okay if I go now?
I guess we won't be able to hold you here much longer.
You can say that again, brother. You could have saved a lot of time for you to listen to what I've been trying to tell you all along.
I guess you're right, Alonzo.
Sure, I'm right. You know, you guys would be a lot better off you believe guys like me the first time we tell you something.
But on the liquor store job, I was only a lookout. I was outside. It was the other two who pulled that one. Stuba and Alonzo. Alonzo killed the clerk.
Hold it, Alonzo.
Dirty,
All right, Alonzo, that's enough. Now, come on, how about it?
Well, what's the use? All right. That's like he said.
Okay, Ben, bring the recorder in here. Alonzo's ready to make a record now. By playing back Crandall's statement that we'd recorded earlier, we got a full confession from Alonzo. We took the three of them out and had them reenact the 4 shootings, and we photographed it on sound film. Crandall, the redhead, was the one who'd shot the 2 police officers, but he was only the lookout for the liquor store killing, which explains why the girl witness didn't see him in the store. Stuba and Alonzo were the ones who pulled that job, and Alonzo, the worst of the bunch, was the one who put the 32-20 against the spine of the wounded clerk. The 3 of them took turns at shooting the cab drivers and robbing them. That accounted for the mixed-up descriptions, including all that left-handed business. 2 of the 3 suspects happened to be left-handed. Well, that was the crop. Crandall, Alonzo, Stuba. 4 shootings, 3 robberies, 4 attempted murders, 1 murder. The 3 men were tried and convicted. They're all in the state penitentiary. Crandall's there for life. Alonzo and Stuba, they'll be executed next week. File it, will you, Ben? Case closed.
Dragnet.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
You have just heard the second in a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the office of C.B. Horrell, Chief of Police, Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to Radio Officer Delmer E. Cook of the Los Angeles Police Department, who, on the afternoon of December 6, 1948, gave his life so that yours might be more secure.
Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, enjoyed her vacation during the holidays just as much as any other teacher. But as it drew to a close, she had a peculiar reaction.
Although I felt that my vacation had done me a lot of good, now that it was over, I was keyed up and enthusiastic, simply raring to go. Raring to go on another 2 weeks vacation. Meanwhile, I went about the business of getting used to working again and spent the past week noticing conditions which hadn't seemed so deplorable during the hustle and bustle of holiday time at the school. I was telling my landlady, Mrs. Davis, about them while we were having breakfast Friday morning.
Let me pour you a cup of this coffee, Connie. It's Rio de Janeiro style. I just got the recipe.
Rio de Janeiro style?
Yes. I mashed up a few Brazil nuts and mixed them with the coffee ground. That's one reason why the blonde hair of a Brazilian is so outstanding.
But, Mrs. Davis, very few Brazilians have blonde hair.
That's another reason it's so outstanding. But I'm afraid I've interrupted something you started to say to me, Connie.
Oh, it wasn't very important. I had just said that
I really shouldn't do that. It's a habit I picked up from my brother Victor. He's terribly absent-minded.
I thought your sister Angela was the absent-minded one in the family.
Angela?
Yes, that's what you told me.
What did I tell you?
That she was very absent-minded.
Who?
Your brother Victor.
Now, how did you know that? You've never even met Victor. But he is confused sometimes, poor dear. Why, you could be talking about something to Victor and he'd seem as interested as could be in the conversation. But then if you just looked away for a moment, it could be right in the middle of a sentence that...
Yes, Mrs. Davis? Mrs. Davis? Yoo-hoo, Mrs. Davis!
Oh, good morning, Connie. I was just looking for the cat out in the kitchen. She hasn't touched her milk.
What do you hear from Victor?
Victor? Oh, my brother. Oh, he's fine, thank you, dear. He calls me quite regularly. My sister Angela's the one that worries me. She's the absent-minded member of the family. But I keep feeling that I disrupted your train of thought. Did I, Connie?
There's not a car left on the tracks but the caboose. I was merely telling you, Mrs. Davis, that I never realized how bad conditions were at school until this cold spell set in. Why, my classroom is so drafty that half my pupils can't answer questions because their teeth are chattering.
That must be awful. Young people have such loud teeth.
Yes, sometimes my room sounds like a dice game on a tin roof.
Have you talked to the principal about it?
Not yet, but I'm going to today. He's just got to get the Board of Education to allot us a bigger budget for coal.
Well, I wish you luck, dear. Is Walter Denton picking you up this morning?
Yes, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, good. Connie, I'd like to apologize again for interrupting you before. As I say, I've been a little worried about my eccentric brother, Victor. Before you go, though...
Yes?
Goodbye, Connie.
Goodbye, Mrs. Davis. And by the way, Mrs. Davis...
Yes, Connie. Yes, Connie, Why, she's gone. Poor thing. She's been under a terrible strain lately.
I'm glad you picked me up early, Walter. I've got to stop in and see Mr. Conklin before my first class.
Oh, golly, Miss Brooks, there must be some pleasanter way to start off a Friday morning for a perfectly nice English teacher.
Yes, there must be.
Oh, it isn't that I don't respect Mr. Conklin. It's just that... Oh, there's something about you, Miss Brooks, that... Well, before the hallowed walls of our beloved Madison High heaves into view, I want you to know that...
Just a minute, Walter. Would you mind taking that sentence again a little slower?
I nearly exclaimed, before the hallowed walls of our beloved Madison High heaves into view...
That's what I thought you exclaimed.
Anything wrong, Miss Brooks?
Well, frankly, Walter, I'd hesitate to correct that sentence without stopping at teacher's college for a refresher course. But what do you mean by heaves into view?
Well, every so often you read about a ship that hove into view, don't you?
Yes.
Well, hove must be the past tense, mustn't it? Heave, haved, hove, isn't it?
Oh, of course not, Walter. Heave, heaved, haved, heave, haved. What do you want me to know before Madison High heaves into view?
That you command as much respect as Mr. Conklin, plus the admiration of the entire student body, and that your personal warmth and charm is only exceeded by your excellence in your chosen field of instruction.
Ain't it the truth? I don't want to seem unduly inquisitive, Walter, but to what do I owe this verbal plaque?
Nothing. It's just a natural reaction. Completely spontaneous and unrehearsed.
And what did you get from our sponsor when you were selected as a contestant?
A pen and pencil set that's guaranteed... Oh, no, that's not fair. No, I'm being completely sincere and have no ulterior motive whatsoever.
Then thank you, Walter.
No, that's okay. Miss Brooks?
Yes?
Would you do me a favor?
If I say no, you'll take back the plaque. Well, what is it?
Well, it's a basketball team. As you know, I'm the new manager, so it's up to me to see Mr. Conklin about getting some things that we need immediately.
And?
And it's up to you to see Mr. Conklin for me, because I'm rarely up to seeing Mr. Conklin. What I mean is that we've just got to get some more trunks.
Where are you going?
Oh, we're not going anywhere. No, we need stuff for the guys to put on while they're playing. You see, right now, every time we send in a substitute, he has to take a blanket along with him and change trunks with the fella he's replacing. About 10 pairs should do fine.
10 pairs? Why don't you just get a larger blanket?
Oh, no, this is serious, Miss Brooks. Oh, another thing you've got to talk to Mr. Conklin about for me is the temperature in the gym. Now, it's so cold in there, a good humor man has to referee the game. Of course, I'm exaggerating, Miss Brooks.
I know, Walter, but, A, just what do you want me to ask Mr. Conklin? And B, why should it be me instead of you?
Well, A, to requisition $100 worth of equipment for the basketball team from the school board, and B, because you're older and carry more weight.
And C, if we were driving in my car, you'd be walking by now.
Well, you don't understand, Miss Brooks. I'm not trying to shirk my duties, but... well, this is a legitimate beef. Let me put it this way. In the stockyards, when they want the sheep to run a certain way, they don't send a little lamb out to guide them. They send an old goat. I mean, you've seen it in the newsreels, I'm sure, where the goat and the... Gosh, I hope you're not mad, Miss Brooks.
Oh, forget it, Walter. Why should I be mad?
Then you'll do it? You'll ask Mr. Conklin for me?
I'll do my best. Now, you'd better start putting on your brakes.
My brakes?
Yes, the hallowed walls are hiving into view.
Ladies, regardless of age, skin type, or previous beauty care, doctors prove you, too, may win a lovelier complexion with Palmolive soap.
But to win this lovelier complexion, the kind men admire and women envy, you must stop improper cleansing. Instead, use Palmolive soap the way doctors advised.
Remember, 36 doctors, leading skin specialists, advised 1,285 women, many with complexion problems, to use Palmolive this way. Some have dry skin, some oily, some coarse-looking. Using Palmolive soap alone, 2 out of 3 won lovelier complexions. Now, here's what the doctors advised.
Wash your face with Palmolive soap. Massaging for 1 minute with Palmolive's soft lather. This cleansing massage brings your skin Palmolive's full beautifying effect. Rinse. Do this 3 times a day for 14 days.
It's that simple. But doctors have proved this way, using nothing but Palmolive, really works. So forget other beauty care. Use Palmolive soap alone for a lovelier complexion.
For loveliness all over, use big, thrifty bath-size Palmolive in your tub or shower.
Well, here we are at school, Miss Brooks. If you will kindly disembark, I'll find a place to park and then return for a joust with the forces of education.
If I was a gambler, Walter, I'd bet on you to place. Oh, there's Harriet Conklin. I think I'll ask her what kind of a mood her father's in.
Okay, Miss Brooks. I'll see you later.
Just a minute, Harriet. I'd like to talk to you.
Oh, hello, Miss Brooks. I'm glad we ran into each other.
Same here. Harriet, did you have breakfast with your father this morning?
Well, yes, I did.
How was he? His temper, I mean.
Pretty good, Miss Brooks. Until Mother showed him some of the bills that had come in.
Then what did he do?
Nothing unusual. He just slammed down his paper, bit through his coffee cup, and left. It could have been worse.
Sure, he could have bitten your mother.
That's one of the reasons I'm glad we ran into each other. Miss Brooks, did I ever tell you what an unending source of inspiration you are?
Oh, I must end somewhere.
I mean it, Miss Brooks. You're more than just an excellent instructor of English. You're...
I'm the patsy who's going to face your father with one of your problems.
All this and psychic, too. How did you know I wanted you to talk to Daddy for me, Miss Brooks?
Well, why should you be an exception, Harriet? What's your beef? Complaint?
The domestic science room. It's like a deep freeze.
That room, too?
It's so cold that most of us wear gloves all during the class. Makes it very awkward, Miss Brooks. Especially when we're trying to use the sewing machine.
Sounds pretty bad.
Bad? It's terrible. Yesterday, Bessie Snyder sewed 5 of her fingers together.
Oh, what's so terrible about that? Gives you an extra ladle for the cooking class.
It broke the sewing machine, and we need $200 for a new one.
Oh, but Harriet...
Miss Brooks, it's up to you to make conditions in this school livable.
For you mean? I'd better be armed with plenty of facts before I face your father, though. I think I'll make a survey of the rest of the rooms.
Starting with Mr. Boynton's biology laboratory?
Now who's psychic? Yes, Harriet, I think I'll interview the shy master of the microbes.
I've been in there, Miss Brooks. It's even colder than the other rooms. I hope you can do something about it.
I should be able to, with the experience I've had.
Well, what do you mean, Miss Brooks?
I've been trying to thaw Mr. Boynton out for years.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Boynton.
Oh, it's you, Miss Brooks. How do you feel this morning?
Cold, thanks, especially in here. Where do you hang your sides of beef, Mr. Boynton?
Oh, it's kind of silly at that. I was going to ask Mr. Conklin about the heating situation, but now that you're here, I wonder if you would...
Naturally.
You better slip this coat on. Even your voice is shivery.
No, this outfit I'm wearing is fairly warm. I've got 4 sweaters on, you know.
Really? Where?
Let's not get racy, Mr. Boynton.
Sorry, Miss Brooks. I didn't mean anything personal.
You never do.
The situation is pretty bad. Now, take my prize frog, McDougal, for instance. He's had a sore throat for weeks, and now with this cold spell, I'm afraid he's developing sinus trouble. Oh, here's his cage right here.
Hello, Mac. How do you feel? Gesundheit. Have a Kleenex, Mac. You're welcome.
It's no wonder he's sick. Look at the tank he's in. No provisions for heating or water at all. This morning, his breakfast was frozen 2 inches from his nose. By the time he did eat, he had indigestion.
That's really awful, Mr. Boynton. This equipment is pretty obsolete. What's this bowl here? Oh, these must be some new fish. What's the name of these pretty blue ones, Mr. Boynton?
Goldfish. They're just cold.
They could slap their fins together. Oh, look at these cute little guinea pigs. Now, they're what I call sensible animals. Look how they huddle together for warmth in their cage. You know, Mr. Boynton, you and I could keep kind of warm that way, too.
Oh, no, we couldn't, Miss Brooks. We could never fit into a cage that size.
Well, no, but it would be fun trying to. Look, Mr. Boynton, about what do you estimate it would cost for new equipment for this lab?
Oh, a couple of $100, roughly. $150 if you smooth it out. That's a sort of a joke, Miss Brooks. First I said roughly, and then $150 if you smooth it out.
Oh. That's a Lulu.
I know another one, but I wish you'd stop me if you've heard it. It's about this group of people.
I've heard it.
Have? The one about the group of people who are all discussing something in a very animated manner, and suddenly they stop, and this one fellow says, "Is anybody eating a lifesaver?" And somebody else says, "Why?" And the first chap says, "Because there's a hole in the conversation." Is that the one you've heard?
No, I heard a different one. Tell yours.
Well, it's about... I just did tell it, Miss Brooks.
Oh, so you did, Mr. Boynton, and a little beauty it was, too. But I better get ready for my first class now. I'll see Mr. Conklin at the beginning of lunch period.
Well, it's awfully nice of you to do this, Miss Brooks. Will you have lunch with me afterwards?
Oh, I'd love to, Mr. Boynton.
And, Miss Brooks, please don't even bring your purse with you. It only embarrasses me when you try to pay your own check in the cafeteria.
All right, Mr. Boynton. I'll leave my bag in my desk.
Fine. When I see you to your room, I can pick up what you owe me.
That's a good one, too. What am I laughing at? He's not kidding. Let's see this list now. Weather stripping for my room, $50. Basketball team equipment, $100. New sewing machine, about $200. And biology lab equipment, $150. Total, $500. Of course, that's without the additional coal we'll have to get. Well, here goes.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Conklin. I just wanted to
Sit down a moment, Miss Brooks. I'm speaking on the phone.
Yes, sir.
So you see, Miss Stanhope, this senseless extravagance has got to stop. Why, do you realize that your art class used up 3 more drawing pencils this month than last? What do you think the school board is made of? Money? What? How can you cut down? Tell the students not to sharpen them so often. And remember, Miss Stanhope, it isn't the 50 cents involved that's important. It's the money. Get on the ball and let's start cutting down expenses around here. Good day. Now, what do you want?
Happy New Year, Mr. Conklin. I just happened to be passing your office, and I thought I'd stop in and say hello.
Hello. Now, if you'll excuse me, I was just going to lunch.
But, Mr. Conklin, you don't want to go up to that drafty cafeteria.
What do you mean, drafty?
Oh, it is. It's almost as bad as the schoolrooms.
What?
And the gym and the biology laboratory and the domestic science room, in which your own daughter Harriet is at this very moment shivering and shaking while she sews her gloved fingers together on the sewing machine which Bessie Snyder broke. There, I said it, and I'm glad.
If you're angling for another vacation, Miss Brooks, the answer is no. Now compose yourself and talk like a rational human being.
Well, it's like this, Mr. Conklin. If we could get a larger appropriation from the school...
A larger appropriation? Miss Brooks, let me tell you what I was planning when you so fortuitously entered my office. I was planning on a general revision of expenses, an economy wave the likes of which this school has never seen. For example, you will in the future direct your pupils to use half as much chalk.
You mean no more capital letters?
Exactly. And this building, it's kept like a hothouse. I intend to cut way down on the supply of coal we're wasting.
Wasting? But...
Don't but me, young woman.
Oh, I can't help it. I'm the goat that was picked for the job. That is, it's not a question of a lot of money, Mr. Conklin. And the temperature of the school is very important.
It certainly is. And I find it extremely comfortable for the most part. But why are you wearing your overcoat?
It's just a silly quirk of mine, Mr. Conklin. I'm trying to break up an ice jam in my arteries.
Oh, nonsense. And take off those gloves. And I wish you'd stop smoking while you're talking to me.
I'm not smoking. I'm just breathing.
Well, cut it out. That's the trouble with people nowadays. They're all mollycoddle, softies. Why, when I think of our forefathers at Valley Forge, dragging cannons through the snow with their feet wrapped in rags, it's enough to make my blood boil.
Well, it wouldn't boil in my room. Look, Mr. Conklin, if you don't care about people, think of the poor little animals in Mr. Boynton's laboratory.
What's wrong with them?
The white mice can't run around on the treadmill without snowshoes. McDougal doesn't know whether to croak, sneeze, or hiccup. So he does all 3, and it's pretty depressing.
Well, then don't listen to it.
And how about the basketball team? Walter Denton says that every time one of his substitutes goes into a game, he has to hide behind a trunk while they're changing blankets. And just think, $100 would remedy the entire situation.
$100?
Plus $200 for a new sewing machine, $50 for weather stripping my room, and $150 for warmer tanks and better equipment in the biology lab. $500 is all you have to requisition from the board, plus some added money for coal. And if you'll sharpen the sword, I'll fall on it on my way out.
Miss Brooks, I'm going to try to control myself. I'm going to walk over to that window and look out of it. A moment later, I'm going to turn around, and you will have gone quietly out of the door. That's better. $500 indeed.
Plus coal.
Get out!
Brooks, the cafeteria was pretty crowded today. Young Denton here invited us to share his table.
Sure, sit down, Miss Brooks. Want me to get you a tray?
Thanks, Walter, but I haven't time to eat right now. I've just left Mr. Conklin's office, and he's flatly refused to requisition a penny from the school board.
But the temperature, my animals, McDougal's toes are frostbitten now.
And how about my basketball team? We got a very important home game on tomorrow night, and that gym is just icy. Oh, we got to do something, Miss Brooks. We just got to get some more coal into this building.
Well, maybe we could start an airlift. No, I guess not. Wait a minute. The only way to make Mr. Conklin see the necessity of improving the coal situation is to pretend we're all coming down with colds.
You mean go into his office sneezing and coughing and all?
Exactly. He won't dare face a school board investigation if he thinks an epidemic is starting. Besides, I happen to know he's quite a hypochondriac when it comes to contagious germs.
But if we really don't have colds, it'd be lying to say we have, wouldn't it?
It's a white lie for the common good, Mr. Boynton.
Oh, but you know what happens to me when I tell a falsehood. I have a psychosomatic symptom that causes me to hiccup.
Well, we'll have to take that chance. Think of McDougal, Mr. Boynton, and those blue goldfish swimming around depending on you to do something.
I'll do it, Miss Brooks. I'll be darned if I don't. Oh, I beg your pardon.
Oh, forget it, Mr. Boynton. In a crisis like this, even I resort to profanity. Oh, fudge.
Come in. Mr. Conklin, I got a bad cold.
What?
It's in by Joe's and Ed, mostly.
Turn around, Boynton. Don't you know those germs travel? How long have you had this cold?
Oh, for a long time.
You caught something from that wretched frog of yours. Now go take some aspirin, go home early, do something, but get out of this office at once.
But, Mr. Conklin, if my laboratory was a little bit warmer...
I'll talk to you after you've recovered, Boynton.
Fine, Mr. Conklin. Thank you, sir.
Better open the window and clear the air in this room. That's better. Come in.
It's me, Mr. Conklin. Water deaded.
What do you want, Denton?
As manager of the basketball team, I'd like to request a warmer gym.
A what?
A warmer gym to play in. It's freezing in there. I got a cold.
You too? Well, cover your face when you sneeze.
We got a very important game to play tomorrow, and we need some heat badly.
Heat? Well, if you've got such a bad cold, Denton, you'd better not come round to the game tomorrow.
What?
I'll be there, and I'll appoint another manager.
But I'm not that sick, Mr. Conklin. Gosh, I feel great.
I
think I know what you mean, Denton. This is all a scheme to get me to ask the board for more money. And I think I know who put you up to it, too.
She did not. Oh, that is...
Come in, Miss Brooks.
How did you know it was me, Mr. Conklin?
I heard you rehearsing your sneeze.
Gee, you look great, Miss Brooks. Never saw you looking better.
Thank you, Walter.
You couldn't possibly have a cold or anything the way you look. Know what I mean?
Keep talking, Denton. I don't mind.
Why, what's the matter with you, Walter? I have a terrible cold in my chest and my head. It's from my room, Mr. Conklin.
Mr. Conklin, if that is the scream, you sure do a funny imitation of a person with a cold, Miss Brooks.
What do you mean, imitation?
Sure. Everybody knows you're just fooling.
Among my own pupils, a stool pigeon.
I knew this was all a plot, Miss Brooks, and I'm ashamed of you.
Why, just because there's a little fresh air circulating through the school. Good fresh air. You throw a fit. Our forefathers should see you now. Those men at Valley Forge dragging the cannon through the snow with rags tied around their feet. Why, when I think of those...
The door was open, so I just came on in, Daddy.
Oh, what is it, Harriet?
I talked to Mother on the phone a little while ago, and her back's bothering her a bit. She'd like the heating pad.
What heating pad?
The one you've got under the cushion you're sitting on. Here's the plug back here. Now, if you'll just get up a minute. There we are. I'll take it home to Mother right away.
Where in the world did that thing come from?
From Valley Forge, of course. The boys must have got some hot rags for their feet. Well, Mr. Conklin recommended the necessary expenditures to the school board and personally ordered some coal immediately. I thought it was a very sportsmanlike and unselfish gesture, and I started to tell him so when I met him in the hall. Mr. Conklin, I think it was very nice of you to tackle this problem so promptly.
Thanks, Miss Brooks. But I wasn't prompt enough. I'm getting pneumonia.
Oh, what's the difference, Mr. Conklin? As long as you've got your health.
Everybody, here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for the Friday night sociable conducted by Lum and Abner, whose everyday experiences are sent to you each evening, except Saturday and Sunday, by your own local Ford dealer. In my opinion, the new Ford V8 is the most economical car on the market, says Rankin Singley, grocer of Mangum, Oklahoma. We've been telling you what we believe about the new Ford V8. Now let us select this letter from the thousands received and tell you what this owner says. Mr. Singley writes, I own a Ford V8, and in my opinion it is the most economical car on the market. On one trip I drove 640 miles in 12 hours and 25 minutes. This included 4 stops and speed up to 87 miles an hour. And without apparently using any oil at all, the car averaged 21 miles per gallon of gasoline. Lum and Abner would be glad to have your opinion of the new Ford V8. As we look in on Pine Ridge tonight, we find the schoolhouse completely filled and the neighbors still coming for the big sociable. The ice cream served last Friday probably accounts for the unusually large attendance tonight. Lum is in charge of the entertainment as usual and is ringing the telephone so that we listeners out on the party line hookup may be sure of hearing the festivities. Take down your receiver and listen.
Howdy, everybody, out on the party line. Mighty proud you're listening in. Wish you could be down here at the schoolhouse with us. We're having a big time, big crowd here. Recollect, me and Abner's are putting on these little get-ups every Friday night to sort of advertise our Ford business. All we ask is that you drive the new Ford V8 before you buy. Want to thank you all for the nice letters you've been sending in. Appreciate that. Now we get along with the sociable. That's the Pine Ridge String Band over there playing. And all right, Cap, turn the boys loose. Let them go. Quiet, everybody, quiet. Taking up a lot of time with that hand slapping.
Hey, say, Lum, look down there on the second row. There sits them Swiss shoulders.
Well, I sworn to goodness I didn't know he was here. Let's make them get up here on
Why,
the platform.
sure, they tried to slip in, not let us see them. Make them come
All
up
right,
here.
boys, get on up here. We want to tune out of you. All right, go ahead,
Drum, you know, I used to sing just like them Swiss shoulders does when I was just a kid or boy growing up.
Haven't you never sung that way? Never heard you yodel in my life.
Well, I did when I was about 14 years old. My voice was changing. I sang.
That's the way they sing over in Switzerland. You take them foreign countries, they all sing different. You take down in Africa, they got queer customs. Now, down there, when them folks gets mad, they take a stick and start beating on the ground with it.
Start beating on the ground?
Yeah, when they're right mad.
Why, they don't want to do that in Africa. As I was going in the county seat the other day, I seen some fellas on the golf course up there doing the same thing, just a whamming the ground.
Well,
now, you know, these here folks here, these big stars down here, they just walk on their hind legs like us folks does.
Why, sure they do.
Just human beings.
Why, sure. Now, let's see, folks, we got a sort of surprise for you tonight. Stopping over here at the Summer Resort Hotel is Larry Adler. He's the one that played in Flying Colors, and he's going to play on the mouth organ, that same number he played in.
He's going to play in Flying Ridge tonight, though.
Yeah, but he's going to play on the mouth organ. He's what is known as the jazz of the mouth organ. Go ahead.
Hi, Larry. Hey, Lum, I don't know what you're aiming on having next, but I seen George Horsick out there a while ago, and he said if you want him to sing, you do it right away. He had to go back down. You know, he's night watching down here at the lumber company now. He's got to get back to work.
Well, we just have George sing his song now. George, if you're ready, go ahead. All right, folks, George Horsick.
Give me a home where the buffalo roam, with the deer and the antelope gray, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. bright with a light from the glittering stars. And I stood here amazed and asked as I gazed if the glory and peace and all. Forgive me, O land where the bright diamond sands flows legally down the stream. With a grateful white morning goes gliding along like a maid in a heavenly dream. Then I would not exchange my home on the range with a tear in the envelope gray. When seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not a cloudy all day. Where the deer and the antelope gray, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not a cloudy all
Lum, that was fine, wasn't it? You know, sir, I've been feeling all day like this was Friday, Lum.
Like it's Friday?
Yeah.
Or it is Friday.
It is. Well, maybe that's the reason I've been feeling that way.
Well, folks, 2 men and a maid is here now from the county seat. I know we all enjoy hearing them. Sort of favorite around here now. All right, the 2 men and a maid's going to sing first.
Only a bird in a gilded cage, a beautiful sight to see. Her beauty was sold for an old man's gold. See the bird in a gilded cage. Some folks like music like that, it is true, but music like that's not for us. We like music modern, some fast and some slow, and this is the way that we think it should go. She's just a bird in a gilded cage, a great mistake in her life she's made. For happiness she told when she married him for gold. Woe-de-woe-de-woe. Though she lives in a mansion grand, though there's wealth at her command, she isn't very happy with the rumble sugar pappy. Woe-de-woe-de-woe. She would like to make some hot chance, she'd like to go and watch the cruise, hidey-ho. She would love to have the chance to make some movie at a dance where the music of the band makes her feel lo-de-lo. She's in the money, she's in the money. She's got a lot of what it takes to get along. She's in the money, she's in the money. But with all her gold, she's not happy with gold. She's a bird in a gilded cage.
Hey, Lum. Hey, Lum, come up here. Well, come here. What's next on the program? Hey, Lum, who's that you talking to back there?
She right smart of a looker,
Don't
ain't
think
she?
you got anything skin out?
Well, just a minute, I got a
You
big
better
surprise
watch
for her.
now. Evelina will get you.
Wait just a minute, I got her now. Folks, that good-looking girl I was just talking to is stopping over here at the Summer Resort Hotel, and I was surprised to know that's Miss Frances Langford. Granny, mighty proud to have a 60 person as that in the community here in Pine Ridge. She's on her way out to California to make a new moving picture.
Is she a picture actress?
Oh, yeah, a regular moving picture
Don't
actress.
think I want to touch it.
Now, Miss Langford has kindly consented to help us out on our little get-up tonight, and we're going to have the hotel orchestra play accompaniment for her. All right, Miss Langford.
I know a bundle of humanity, charming as can be. Why, I'm really driven to insanity when he speaks to me. He doesn't speak sort of perfume and always so blasé. But I try to overcome his vanity and learn this way. I'm young and healthy, and you've got charm. If ability can nothing better in your arms. I'm young and healthy, and so are you. When the moon is in the sky, that's what am I. If I could help you, I'd keep away. But that ain't my name, Lord, full of wonderfulness. I'm young and healthy, so let's go. And I knew I'd have to be
The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, The Planet Man. When we left the crew of Earth's first rocket expedition, they were heading for a crash on the moon. We find Dr. Darrow, his daughter Pat, Slats, the engineer, and our two young stowaways, Billy and Jane, discussing their dangerous predicament. The sound of the complicated control mechanism makes the cabin seem like a chatterbox of confusion. And from the outside can be heard the mad whining of the lunar currents. We find them now as they're getting closer and closer to the moon's surface. Slats is speaking.
Our altimeter reading is dropping pretty fast, Professor.
Isn't there any way we can break our fall on the moon?
I've thought of everything, Pat, but there just doesn't seem to be any answer. The extra power we lost on takeoff was our only hope.
Father, I know you don't like to do things second best, but in a situation like this, it might be necessary.
What do you mean, Pat?
Well, what about using our remaining power to go into an orbit around the moon, as we discussed in our original plan?
Yes, but what good will that do? We still come to the same end, except that the agony will be prolonged.
Let's do it, Professor. We got nothing to lose.
Whatever it is, I'm game, Uncle John.
Me too, Uncle John.
You know what they say, Professor, where there's life, there's hope.
It'll be a ticklish maneuver now since we've gotten into the pull of the moon, and our power is limited. But if the rest of you are game, so am I. Stand by to maneuver. Pat, start the reactor.
Yes, Father.
Slats, check the radar rangefinder and make sure you pinpoint those readings on the moon.
Yes, sir.
I'll pilot. Now keep your fingers crossed. Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Cut the reactor, Pat.
Cutting reactor.
What's our reading?
It's 63.3. We need a bit more, Professor.
Hit it again, Pat.
Reactor on.
Are we picking it up fast enough, Slats? What's the reading?
Not enough, Professor. We need a fraction more.
Are you sure, Slats? I've got our heading way over, and our power can't last much longer with such a radical course heading. Slats, give me a reading. Slats, do you hear me? Give me a reading.
It's 89.4. 6 more points, Professor.
That's the end of our power. I hope we make it.
Steady, steady. Just a bit more, old Ironsides. There. Well, we made it. We made it, Professor.
Good,
right
that's
on the
fine.
feet.
I'm so glad. Very good.
Hey, what are we all so happy about? We're right in the middle of nowhere.
You mean that we're not going to land on the moon after all?
I'm afraid not, Billy.
What's going to happen? Nothing, Jane. We're just going to circle the moon the way the moon circles the Earth.
Just look at that view of the moon. What a break. So near and yet so far.
Uncle John, something is happening to the air. It's getting stuffy in here.
I know, Billy. It's the air circulator slowing down. Breathing will be just a bit difficult from now on since our oxygen supply is limited.
Professor, can you hear me?
Slats, where are you? What are you up to?
I'm outside the ship, rigging up the lunar communications generator. Thought we might as well set it up and try to make contact with the Earth.
You can't do that alone.
I'm here, too.
Careful, Pat. Don't let go now. Pat! Slats, grab her. She's floating away.
What?
Quick, Slats.
Slats, help me. Help me.
Pat, here, grab my hand. Quick now, come on. Hold tight now. Easy. There we are. Steady now.
He pulled her back, Uncle John.
Pat, Slats, is everything all right?
Yes, Father, thanks to Slats. I thought I was a goner.
Don't forget you're out in space, Pat, and if you ever drifted away, we'd never be able to get you back.
It's all okay now, Professor. We're coming in.
Yes, Billy?
Jane and I know what's going on.
What are you talking about? Pat, we know this whole trip was spoiled because we stowed aboard. It's all our fault. Now listen to me, you two, and stop feeling guilty. It wasn't the best idea for you to sneak aboard, but it did happen. And besides, we could have been wrong in our calculations. The important thing now is for all of us to face up to whatever lies ahead. And I know that you two won't let me down.
Never, Pat.
Not us, Pat. All right, now let's just forget the whole thing. I wonder where Slats and Father are.
We'll return to Planet Man in just a moment. So, level up! Well, it looks like the first trip from Earth to the moon is coming to its tragic end. The good ship Constitution is in a hopeless orbit about the moon. The entire crew is slowly suffocating because the oxygen supply is coming to an end. Professor Darrow and Slats are in the posterior cargo chamber. Slats is apparently up to something.
Why don't you go to the control cabin, Professor, and lie down for a while? It'll be easier for you to breathe.
I think I'd better stay here. I hate to have Pat and the kids see me so worried and worn out. Slats, you've got something on your mind. What is it?
I've been thinking, Professor. I really haven't got anybody. Nobody'd miss me, and you and Pat and the kids would have a little extra time.
Now, what are you driving at?
Well, a big guy like me uses a lot of oxygen. All I have to do is to step through that port, and it'll be all over in a second. You people will have a little longer.
Don't be a fool, Slats. We're all in this together. Besides, if anybody goes through the port, it will be me. I'm the oldest. And besides, the whole thing is my responsibility.
Now, look, Professor, I've made up my mind. There's no point in trying to stop me.
No, Slats, don't jump.
Don't stop me, Professor. I'll hit you. I didn't mean to hurt you, Professor, but this is the way it's got to be. So long, Professor. What's that?
What's going on in there? What's that clanging?
We're not clanging anything. I thought it was you.
Slats! Father, look out of the port! Quick! Boy, look at that! It's mammoth!
Professor, get up. Something's happened.
What?
There's something next to our ship.
Huh? Oh, my head. Ship. Here, help me. Let me see the... What? It's impossible. But it looks like another ship is next to ours.
Let me help you, Professor. We must get to the control cabin with the others.
Father, Slats, what is it?
I don't know, but now we'd better stay close together. Slats, where are you going?
Just to get this fishing wrench. I don't know what's coming through that hatch, but I'm not taking any chances.
Well, be careful and don't get too close to the hatch.
Let's all be very quiet.
Oh, Uncle John, look!
Stand back, whatever you are.
Look at Slats. He can't move. He's frozen in his tracks.
Oh, Slats! Why, it's a man.
What did you expect? A three-headed Mercurian man-eater? I am a man from the planets.
A planet man. Boy, wait till the gang hears about this.
Billy, please.
My name is Dantro, the planet man.
and I come in peace. I represent the League of Planets, and my mission is to bring all of you to Planaria Rex.
Planaria Rex? League of Planets?
Where is that?
I'll explain in a moment. But I don't think we should leave your brave friend Slats in this paralyzed predicament. He'll snap right out of it with a shot of this ray gun neutralizer.
What happened? Did I get him?
It's all right, Slats. We're all safe. It seems that we've met a friend, and his name is Dantro, the Planet Man.
It's nice to meet a brave man like you, Slats. Here, let me help you up.
Dantro, my name is John Darrow. This is my daughter and assistant, Pat.
How do you do?
And I think you've already met Slats.
Yeah.
And these two are Jane and Billy, my niece and nephew.
It's a pleasure to know you all. You see, we've really known you for a long time, since we've been able to watch your experiments. In fact, we've been in touch with this entire trip of yours. We've even learned to speak your language.
But how could you do all that?
We planet men have many devices which Earth has not yet discovered. And one of them is the cosmic communicator, which enables us to see and hear across the millions of miles of space.
But why have you kept the existence of the League of Planets from the Earth?
Where is Planaria Rex, and why haven't I been able to chart its position?
Everything will be explained to you in due time.
What's that noise?
It's coming from my ship. We must hurry along. It's the bogey warning oscillator telling us there are some unidentified ships approaching.
But we can't leave the Constitution.
Not old Ironside.
Your ship will be safe in this orbit for 1,000 years. We must not waste time.
Will I get a spacesuit like yours?
Will you let me fly the ship?
I see Earth children are no different from ours. There's our last warning. Quick, through the hatch into my ship, the Planeteer.
What adventures lie ahead for the Earth people? What will they find on Planaria Rex? Whose ships are those approaching the helpless Constitution? We'll be back in just a moment. But first, here is a message that Dantro the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Find out what happens to the Earth people as they speed toward a new world on Planaria Rex. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man.
Fantasy. I am the man who came back.
Break it up.
This way, officer. He's in here.
All right, miss. Casey.
Yes, Captain?
Now, you stay right there in that doorway and don't let nobody in or out.
Right, Captain. All right, now. All right, you heard him.
Oh, but we had nothing to do with this.
Okay, sister. If you didn't, you ain't got nothing to be scared of. Hey, you. Where do you think you're going?
I thought I might get a little air, if you don't mind.
Well, I do mind. Now, back in the house with you. What's the big idea of you wearing that mask?
As you might have observed, my friend, this is a masquerade party.
Oh, is it now? Well, according to Emily Post, it's masks off at midnight. And we got this call to come out here just as the clock in Washington Circle was striking the hour.
The call was placed by a most hysterical woman. And there is nothing you can do for the man in there, I assure you.
Stop changing the subject. What I want to know is, why ain't you unmasked like the others?
I prefer, sir, to wear my mask.
Take it off, Don Juan. I want to look at your mug.
It might be better, my friend, if you didn't see my mug.
Now, look here, Zorro.
Perhaps while we are waiting, I might tell you a story.
Yeah? What is this? Bedtime at Grandma's? The only story I'm interested in is what happened here tonight.
Exactly.
Eh?
I said exactly. Perhaps I can tell you the story.
All right, then, my fine, mysterious friend. Give.
Well, you see, it's quite a long story. It really all began at least 3 years ago. I remember that evening quite well. I let myself into Granger's apartment. It was a golden key I used. A bright golden key. And there was no one there when I arrived. So I closed the door and waited. Well, Grange, imagine seeing me here.
Huh? Blake. Oh, I say, you startled me.
Did I now? I dare say, had I been someone else, you wouldn't have been at all startled.
Incidentally, old man, how did you get in here?
I suppose it would be quite facetious of me to say that I came in the same way you did. Oh, I say, a new piano. Do you mind?
No, not at all. Go right ahead. Help yourself. Have a drink?
No, thanks. You'd better have one, though.
Oh, yeah. I say, Blake, what's that you're playing?
You've heard it before, Grange.
Have I? I don't recall.
You have a short memory.
I usually remember pretty well.
Well, when you choose to, you do, yes.
What do you mean by that?
My wife has played that tune for you every night this week, and last, and the week before that. You see, I happen to know.
Oh. I see.
Well, I'm glad you haven't the audacity to deny it.
No. No, I don't deny it. Your wife has been here. Often. As often as she possibly could. But I assure you she came of her own desire.
And as a result of your oily persuasion.
I might agree, Blake, that she is easily persuaded. And, of course, my curiosity prompts me to ask how you finally learned the truth.
I accidentally found the key to your apartment here. It was in Sylvia's purse. A golden key. With your initials engraved on one side, hers on the other.
Why, I thought that a rather handsome touch. Don't you agree?
I've brought the key back to you.
How gallant of you, old fellow.
I'm serious. Sylvia will never come here again.
Are you positive of that?
Quite. For I shall ask her not to.
You seem to believe she'll obey you.
She will. And I ask you now, Grange, as a gentleman, kindly refrain from inviting her here again.
In other words, hands off. Is that it?
I'm glad I make myself quite plain.
Why, you fool. You dull, stupid fool. What right have you to demand anything of Sylvia? Do you think for a moment, night after night, twiddling her thumbs while you're away from home?
I admit I've been busy this past year, but another 6 months...
You've no one to blame for Sylvia's being here but yourself. Here she's found what you've denied her, Blake. And I doubt very much if she'll give it up.
Why, you swine, if you think for a moment... Oh. Well, I forgot you carried a gun. But if you'd care to put it away...
Skip the heroics, Blake. You know, I think I've suddenly thought of a solution to all this.
The only solution is for you to leave Sylvia alone.
Oh, no. No, you're quite mistaken. This is the solution. Here in my hand. Indeed, I rather like the idea. Besides, with you out of the way, Sylvia need have no more qualms.
Why, you low yellow rat.
That's it, Blake. Come closer. Threaten me. Make me do it. Make me do it, Blake.
If you think killing me is the way out, Grange, you're very badly mistaken.
It's the only way out.
If you kill me, Grange, I'll come back and avenge myself.
One shot and that'd be all. I can prove self-defense. Sylvia will help. She'll swear you came here and tried to kill me.
I'll come back, Grange.
Just one shot directly between the eyes.
I'll haunt you, Grange, because by God in heaven, I'll come back.
It's a perfect scheme, yes. I like
I'll
it.
pierce the veil, Grange, because I'll come back if I have to fight all the demons of hell to do it.
Oh, prepare, Blake. This is a chance of a lifetime. It's the way out. Yes, it's the way out. Grange!
Get your extra paper. Wealthy playwright slain in millionaire's apartment. Read all about it. Here you are, Mr. Keith Grange playing self-defense and slaying a fellow Blake. Here it is, folks. Get your extra paper. Read the headline news about the killing. It's all here in your extra paper.
It is the judgment of this court that the defendant, Keith Grange, did shoot and kill the deceased, Philip Blake, on the night of April 16th, and that in so doing, he acted in a line of self-defense. The court therefore decrees that Keith Grange shall not be held to account for this unfortunate incident.
Well, my dear?
I suppose there's nothing to worry about now.
Not the slightest thing. I told you from the very beginning, Sylvia, that I acted rightly in doing what I did.
Oh, I still can't resign myself to it.
But you must. It's all over. Philip is dead. Now we can be together as much as we please.
Keith, suppose you and I should have a misunderstanding. Suppose I should become angry sometime. So angry I might tell the truth to the authorities.
That, my dear, would be most unfortunate. But it's a possibility, and by no means should we overlook possibilities. So allow me to remind you, Sylvia, my dear girl, that your hiding the true facts of the matter of the coroner's investigation automatically makes you an accomplice.
Oh, I see. But why are we talking like this, darling? We'll both feel better after we've had a little rest.
Oh, of course we will, dear.
Kiss me goodnight, darling. I'm going home.
I'll take you.
Oh, no. No, I'd rather go alone tonight if you don't mind.
As you wish, my dear. Good night.
Good night, darling.
Sweet.
Will you call me in the morning?
Yes, of course I will.
Good night, then.
Good night, darling. Pleasant dreams. That's strange. Very strange. Just a moment ago, there were only Sylvia and I here. Now she's gone. Yet I feel that I'm not alone.
You're not alone, Grange.
What? What was that? I thought I heard a voice.
It was my voice.
Who are you? Where are you?
I told you I'd come back.
No. No, it's just my imagination.
Is it your imagination, Grange?
Yes. Yes, of course.
I warned you. I warned you. Remember?
Come out. Come out in the open. Come out, I say. Do you hear me? Come out.
Your gun is useless against me now, Grange.
What do you want? Tell me, what do you want?
Oh, not now. The time isn't right now. But I'll be back. Watch for me and wait. Watch and wait. For I'll come back, Grange. I'll come back.
No. No, I'm sure of it. It was no one. No one at all. I just imagined it, that's all. Yes, just my imagination. Sylvia, dear, you look so tired. Here, perhaps this will wake you up. Present for you.
A present?
Yes, something I picked up today. I thought you'd like it.
How sweet of you, darling. I think I can guess just by looking at the box. It's a ring.
Oh, aren't you clever? Go ahead, open it.
All right, darling, but don't hurry me. Oh.
Miss Sylvia, that isn't the ring I bought for you.
Keith, look at this ring.
The initials. P.B.
Keith, this is his ring.
Sylvia, what are you saying?
It's his ring. I gave it to him.
But Sylvia...
Keith, I swear to you, Philip Blake was buried with that ring on his finger.
Cab, mister?
Yes, please.
Do you mind coming around to the other side, please, mister? That door's busted, and you can't get it open.
Oh, very well.
Sorry to ask that of you, but they ain't had time to get the other door fixed. Where to, friend?
Huntington Arms Hotel, please.
Right.
Excellent.
Huh?
That's where I'm going.
Oh, you startled me. I didn't know there was anyone in this cab. It's so dark tonight.
Yes, isn't it?
I say, I don't seem to feel anyone in the seat here beside me.
Strange. You certainly bumped me hard enough when you crawled in here.
Bumped you? I beg your pardon, sir, but I...
Never mind, Grange. Never mind.
You know me?
I'm surprised that you don't know me.
Why, yes. Your voice sounds familiar. Good Lord. Philip Blake.
Do you mind riding with me?
Blake, you're supposed to be dead. You're supposed to be buried.
I am dead, Grange. I am buried.
Cabby, stop this cab.
Right, sir.
Now, let me out of here. Let me out.
What's the matter, Governor? Hey, you hadn't ought to jump out of a moving car like that.
What in the name of heaven is in the back of that cab?
Why, nothing, Governor. Here, see? I'll turn on the light. There. See?
But there was somebody in there with me.
Oh, now, mister, they couldn't have been. Look for yourself. The seat's empty there. And you just jumped out on this side of the cab. The other door won't open. No, brother, there wasn't nobody in that seat with you. Must have been your imagination.
Hello? Hello, darling? Dear, this is Sylvia. I just wanted to remind you about the masquerade ball at Keith's new home tonight. You'll be there? Fine. Now remember, masks and costumes for everybody. All right, dear. Bye. Now be sure to come in costume, won't you, Dorothy? Yes. And heavily masked, my dear. Yes, at Keith's new place. Oh, darling, wait till you see the place. It's really a mansion. Honestly, it's huge. Mr. Grange, I believe.
Sylvia, darling. So you penetrated my disguise.
Silly. I heard you order it from the costumers yesterday. Darling, the music will start soon. Is the first dance ours?
Sylvia, my dear, every dance is ours tonight. Are you happy I bought this place?
Oh, it's lovely. Absolutely lovely, Keith. Darling, what's the matter?
That man in black. I've been watching him all evening. He's been watching me.
Do you know who he is?
No. He just stands and stares at me. Everywhere I go, he's always just a short distance away.
Look, Keith. He's going into your study.
Well, he hasn't any business in there.
Strange. I locked that door this evening so the guest wouldn't go into your study and disturb things.
Well, he just walked right in. And, dear, I'll go see who he is and what he wants. You mingle with the guests, and I'll join you later.
Very well, dear. But don't be long. I'll be waiting for you.
All right, Sylvia. Yeah. It's odd. This door is locked. Dark. Piano. Oh, confound it. Where's the light switch? There. No, it can't be. That piano. Someone's playing and... Yet there's no one seated there. The keys. Moving. Up and down. Playing the music. But there are no hands on them. That melody. It's the melody he played the night I killed him. He's playing it now. And yet he's not there.
I'm here, Grange. I'm here.
Play.
Look closer, Grange. Here I am. You see?
Yes. I see you now.
I brought you a little gift for your masquerade party.
What?
You'll find it lying on your desk. Turn around and see for yourself. That's right. There. You see?
A gun.
It's the one you killed me with. Don't you recognize it?
Where did you get that gun?
I found it, Grange, and I've brought it back to you. I put one shell in its chamber. Just one, Grange. But that is enough.
What are you trying to... Gone. He's gone. Lord, am I mad? Was I dreaming? No. No, the gun is here. It is my gun. One cartridge, he said. Only one. One cartridge. Yes. Yes, it's the only way left. He knew it was the only way. Now he's left me to take it. All right, Blake. You can have your revenge. You can have it. And you are right. It is the only way.
So he shot himself, eh?
The evidence in there will indicate that he did, yes.
Say, that's quite a yarn you spun, Zorro.
It is nothing but the truth.
Come on now, come on, my friend. Let's take off your mask and have a look at you.
One moment. Keith Grange shot Philip Blake squarely between the eyes.
Yeah? So what?
That doesn't make a very pretty sight.
Well, I don't see what that's got to do with... here comes the captain. He'll take that mask off you. Captain Sullivan, come here a minute, will you?
Yes, Casey, what is it?
Well, there's a mug here that won't take off his mask. He's been spinning me the most fantastic yarn I ever heard in all my... where'd he go?
Huh? Where'd who go? Say, did you let somebody get out of this house, Casey?
No, Sir Cap. No, I didn't. But he was standing here just a minute ago. He wouldn't take off his mask. He told me the darndest story about a murdered man coming back from the grave.
Casey, have you been near the punch bowl? Well, there's no one here now. Wait a minute. What's this stain here on the floor?
Blood. A little pool of it. There on the floor. Right in the exact spot where the man in black was standing.
The Man Who Came Back, an original tale of dark fantasy by Scott Bishop. Ben Morris was Keith Grange. Eleanor Naylor Corrin was Herda Sylvia. Fred Wayne took the part of Casey. Muir Height was Captain Sullivan. Murillo Schofield, the cab driver. And Eugene Francis was the Man Who Came Back. Ladies and gentlemen, every Friday night at this time, the National Broadcasting Company will bring you Dark Fantasy, tales of the weird, adventures of the supernatural, created for you by Scott Bishop. Listen 1 week from tonight for the breathtaking story of the tombs of ancient China, the soul of Shanhai Wan.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The House of Squibb, manufacturing chemist of the medical profession since 1858, bring you Academy Award. The pictures, the players, the techniques and skills which have won or been nominated for the coveted awards granted each year by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to each in his field for outstanding achievement. The House of Squibb, makers of the great family of Squibb medicinal products, brings you one of the most delightful fantasies ever presented on the screen, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, for which Walt Disney won the 1937 special Academy Award.
Once upon a time, there lived a lovely little princess named Snow White. Her vain and wicked stepmother, the queen, feared that someday Snow White's beauty would surpass her own. So she dressed the little princess in rags and forced her to work as a scullery maid.
Each day, the queen consulted her magic mirror.
Magic mirror on the wall,
Who is the fairest one of all?
And as long as the mirror answered,
You are the fairest one of all,
Snow White was safe from the queen's cruel jealousy. But one day, the queen looked into her mirror, and there were flames crackling instead of her reflection. And the queen clutched her heart in fear and asked the same old question.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
famed is thy beauty, majesty, but hold, a lovely maid I see. Rags cannot hide her gentle grace. Alas, she is more fair than thee.
Alas for her. Reveal her name.
Lips as red as a rose, hair as black as ebony, skin as white as snow.
Snow White!
Poor Snow White knew nothing of the queen's jealousy. She was alone with her friends, the white pigeons, who were watching Snow White as she peered down into the old wishing well.
Want to know a secret? Promise not to tell? We're standing by a wishing well. Make a wish into the well. That's all you have to do. And if you hear it echoing, your wish will soon come true. I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today. I'm hoping, and I'm dreaming of the nice thing he'll say. Ha 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 ha. I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today.
Did I frighten you?
You mustn't. I'm afraid.
Wait, please. Don't run away.
Now that I have found you, hear what I have to say. One song, I have but one song only for you. One heart tenderly beating, ever entreating, constant and true. One love that has possessed me. One love thrilling me through. One song my heart keeps singing of one love only for you.
Good night, Snow White.
Sweet Prince, good night. Dearest Prince, good night.
Sweet Prince, dearest Prince. Bah, I'll take care of that. Go, send for my huntsman.
Your Majesty, I heed your call.
Huntsman, I command you, take Snow White at once to the forest and kill her and bring back her heart in this box.
What's that? Who's there? Who comes through the forest?
Don't try to run. I have you trapped.
Huntsman, what are you doing here? Why do you glare at me so?
Oh, I can't do it. I beg your highness, forgive me.
But what were you going to do?
Kill you with this knife and cut your little heart out. The queen is mad, jealous of you. Now quickly, child, you must run.
But I know not where to run in this dark, terrible forest.
Run into the deep forest and never, never come back again.
Have a care. I'm old, gnarled, and sinful. I'm an ancient oak tree.
No. Please, Mr. Oak Tree, let me go.
I see you, Snow White, for I see better in the dark. You can't get away from my bat.
Oh, no, please, let me go. Let me go. Have a care, Snow White. You can't escape my entangling leaves. I'm a green fern to trip you. Oh, let me go. Please, green fern. Let go of my
Don't try to fool a wise old owl.
No, wise owl. Don't glare at me so. No. Beautiful birds. And what happy little animals. But where am I? In the forest. Oh, thank you, little bird. I'm so ashamed. But I was so frightened, and I made such a fuss. You want me to feel safe, don't you? Well, I do. And I'm sure I'll get along somehow, thank you. But I do need a place to sleep tonight. And I can't sleep in the ground. Or in the trees like you can. Maybe you know where I can stay. You do? Will you take me there? Oh, thank you. You lead the way, and I'll follow you. Oh, what an adorable little house. Just like a doll's house. Hello? Anybody home? May I come in? Ooh, it's dark inside. I guess there's nobody home. Let's go in and see him. Why, there's 7 little chairs. And from the look of this table, 7 untidy little children. And just look, cobwebs everywhere. Oh, what a pile of dirty dishes. Yes, it is awful. I know. We'll clean the house and surprise them, because maybe they're orphans. And if they know I can help them keep house, maybe they'll let me stay. Oh, look, here's a broom. I'll just get to work right now. Just whistle while you work. And cheerfully together we can tidy up the place. Just hum a merry tune. It won't take long when there's a song to help you set the pace. And as you sweep the room, imagine that the room is someone that you love. And soon you'll find you're dancing to the tune. Just whistle while you work. When hearts are high, the time will fly, so whistle while you work. What adorable little beds they have. And look, they have their names carved on them. Doc, Happy, Sneezy, and Dopey. What funny names for children. Grumpy, Bashful, and Sleepy. Oh, my sleepy. Guess I'm a little sleepy myself. Guess I better lie down and close my eyes for a while. For just a little while.
And who were the 7 little orphans who owned the 7 little chairs? in the little cottage in the forest, and the 7 little beds upstairs, and the 7 little plates and saucers, why, they were the 7 little dwarfs who lived in the cottage and who worked all day in a mine. And while Snow White was tidying up the little cottage, the 7 little dwarfs were coming home from work.
Hi-ho, for if you're feeling low, you positively can't go wrong with a hi-ho, 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 to make your troubles go. Just keep on singing all day long, hi-ho, 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 for if you're feeling low, you positively can't go wrong with a hi-ho, hi-ho.
Jiminy crickets! Doors open! Chimney smoking! Something's in there! Maybe a ghost.
Or a goblin, Happy?
No, it's a demon. Or no, a demon. No, it's a demon. A demon, likely, Bashful.
Nope. I bet it's a dragon, Doc.
Mark my words, there's trouble a-brewing. Felt it coming all day. My corn's hurt.
Grumpy.
Well, Mahler, fool him. Don't fool. Follow me. We'll sneak up on him, man. Follow me.
Jiminy crickets! Fellers, it's a monster.
It covers 3 beds.
Well, let's kill it before it wakes up.
Well, which end do we kill? Look out! It's waking up.
What is it?
Gellers, it's a furl. Or fools, it's a fellas, it's a girl.
Look out! She's moving.
Well, what do we do?
Hide!
Oh, goodness. I must have been asleep for a long time. Why, the children must have come home. Oh, you're not children. You're little men. How do you do?
How do you do what?
Oh, you can talk. I'm so glad. Now, don't tell me who you are. Let me guess. You're Doc.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And you're Bashful.
Oh, gosh.
And you're Sleepy.
How did you guess?
Of course, you're Sneezy. And you must be,
Happy, that's me. And this is Dopey. He don't talk none.
Oh, she's trying to fool us with her charms, fellers. Take care.
Oh, that must be Grumpy.
Ask her who she is and what she's a-doing here.
Yeah, what are you and who are you doing? Or what are you? Who are you, my dear?
I'm Snow White.
Snow White, the princess?
Well, tell her to get out.
Oh, please don't send me away. If you do, the queen will kill me.
That queen, she's full of black magic. We'll get into trouble.
Oh, she'll never find me here. And if you let me stay, I'll keep house for you. I'll wash and sweep and cook.
Cook? Apple dumplings?
And crapple dumpkins.
Yes, and plum pudding and gooseberry pie.
Gooseberry pie? Hooray, she stays.
All right, then we'll get supper right now.
Hooray for supper! Hooray for supper!
Magic mirror on the wall, who now is the fairest one of all?
Over the 7 jowled hills beyond the 7th fall, in the cottage of the 7 dwarfs, dwells Snow White, fairest one of all.
Snow White lies dead in the forest. The huntsman has brought me this proof in the box. Behold her heart.
Snow White still lives, the fairest in the land. 'Tis the heart of a pig you hold in your hand.
The heart of a pig. I've been tricked. The blundering fool. I'll go myself to the dwarf's cottage, in a disguise so complete no one will ever suspect. How? Where is my book of magic? So. Now the formula to change my beauty into ugliness. My queenly raiment into a peddler's cloak. Mummy dust to make me old.
So it's almost done. But now a toast to darkness. Oh, powers of evil, hear me. Send a blast of wind to fan my hate. A thunderbolt to mix it with. Now Now begin thy magic spell. I drink the fiery drink of hell.
Before continuing with the second part of Walt Disney's award-winning fantasy, Snow White, let's think for a moment how science is making many of our childhood dreams come true. Today, men really fly. Motion pictures glow with storybook color. And parents are grateful for a lesser miracle to them, almost as amazing as the others. Today, many children actually enjoy brushing their teeth. They like the cool, minty flavor of Squibb dental cream. Try it and you'll know why. You'll taste, feel, and see the refreshing difference. For pure Squibb dental cream wakes up your mouth, uncovers all the natural brilliance of your smile. That's because the active ingredient in Squibb dental cream is one of the safest, softest, yet most effective polishing agents known to dental science. So keep your whole family smiling with Squibb dental cream. Taste, feel, and see the refreshing difference. In just a moment, we will present the second part of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But first, we wish to thank Walt Disney for making this production possible. Walt Disney is also producer of Make Mine Music, the new Technicolor production now having its premiere at the Globe Theater in New York City. And now, part two of Walt Disney's Academy Award-winning picture, Snow White.
Let's see what the Book of Magic would provide. A special sort of death for one so fair as Snow White. Now, what shall it be? Here is one, a poison apple. A sleeping death. Yes, it says, one taste of the poisoned apple, and the victim's eyes will close forever in the sleeping death. Good.
Let's do something.
Well, Happy, what shall I do?
Oh, tell us a story.
Yes, tell us a story.
A true story.
A love story.
Well, once there was a princess.
President Winston, was the princess you?
And she fell in love.
Was it hard to do?
It was very easy. Anyone could see that the prince was charming. The only one for me.
Was he strong was he strong and handsome?
Was he big and tall?
There's nobody like him anywhere at all.
Did he say he loved you?
And did he steal a kiss?
He was so romantic, I could not resist. Someday my prince will come. Someday we'll meet again, and the birds will sing.
Midnight, the witching hour. Snow White sleeps, and the seven little dwarfs are in their beds. But in the forest near the cottage in the moonlight, the queen, disguised as a toothless old hag, waits for dawn to break.
Dip the apple in the brew. Let the sleeping death seep through. But wait, there may be an antidote. Yes, nothing must be overlooked. Here it is. In the Book of Magic, the victim of the sleeping death can be revived only by love's first kiss. Bah! No fear of that. The dwarfs will think she's dead. She'll be buried alive. Buried alive!
Oh!
All alone, my pet.
Why, yes, I am. But
The The little men are not here?
No, they're not.
Making pies?
Yes, gooseberry pies.
It's apple pies that make the men's mouths water. Pies made from apples like these.
Oh, they do look delicious.
Yes, but wait till you taste one, dearie. Drat these birds. What ails them?
I don't know. They're acting so strangely today.
They're making me nervous, and my heart is weak.
Oh, here, let me help you.
The birds are making me nervous.
Here, take my arm, Granny. I'll chase the birds. Go away. Shush. Go away. Please go away.
Hey, fellas, look at the birds. Something's wrong. They're all head up.
Hey, they've come from Snow White.
The old queen's got her. That's what's the matter. Oh, she'll kill her. Well, what do we do?
Oh, come on, get those pickaxes and come running. We've got to save Snow White.
But, Granny, I didn't make my wish yet.
Take a bite, dearie. Take a bite.
I wish for my Prince Charming, and that he will carry me away to his castle, where we will live happily ever after.
Fine, fine. Now take a big bite. Don't let the wish grow cold.
Oh, I feel so strange.
She bit the apple. Her breath will still, her blood congeal.
I feel...
It's done. Done. Now I'll be fairest in the land. Oh, the seven dwarfs. They know what I've done. I must escape. I'm trapped. The meddling little fools. They have me trapped. I can't escape. A cliff before me. A mountain behind.
There she is down there, fellers. Roll the big rock on her. All together, fellers. Heave!
No, you'll kill me.
Heave! 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 There it goes.
I'll fix you for this. I'll fix you. I'll crush your bones.
Oh, we'll crush your bones, you old...
No, I'm lost. Lost.
The evil witch queen was gone, but when the seven dwarfs found their beloved Princess Snow White, she was lying on the floor of the cottage. Her eyes were closed, and they gave her up for dead.
I'll never be happy anymore.
I won't either, Happy. And I'll never sneeze again.
Poor Horse Knight, the Snow White. She was so kind to us.
She's so beautiful. We mustn't bury her. We'll make a coffin of glass and gold.
Yes. And we'll keep guard forever at her side.
Oh, poor lovely Snow White.
But the news spread abroad in the land, and soon the prince, who had searched far and wide for his true love, heard of the beautiful maiden who slept in the glass coffin, and he came mounted on his white horse to the sunlit glade where Snow White lay upon her beautiful couch.
Who is the prince on the white horse?
He looks wonderful, big and strong.
Maybe he's coming to see Snow White.
Why, it must be Snow White's charming prince. Don't stand there, fellers. Lead him up to her princess.
Snow White, it is you, my only one. At last I have found you.
Jiminy crickets, he's gonna kiss her.
Oh, at last you've come, my prince.
She's awake. She's awake.
My princess.
Snow White lives! Hooray! Hooray!
Someday when spring is here, we'll find our love anew.
dearest Snow White. I shall carry you off to my castle.
Yes, my prince. And will you love me forever?
I love you forever and ever and ever.
Down through the ages, children and grown-ups too have learned from parables and stories many of the great truths which inspire and guide mankind. The House of Squibb has its own parable, an oft-repeated story that, for almost a century, has guided the conduct of its business. In the city of Baghdad lived Hakim the Wise One, and many people went to him for counsel, which he gave freely to all, asking nothing in return. There came to him a young man who had spent much but got little, and said, "Tell me, Wise One, what shall I do to receive the most for that which I spend?" Hakim answered, "A thing that is bought or sold has no value unless it contains that which cannot be bought or sold. Look for the priceless ingredient." "But what is this priceless ingredient?" asked the young man. Spoke then the Wise One, "My son, the priceless ingredient of every product in the marketplace is the honor and integrity of him who makes it. Consider his name before you buy." Through its adherence to this ideal of honor and integrity, Squibb has earned recognition all over the world as a name you can trust. Next week, another great picture. The House of Squibb will present Academy Awards starring Randolph Scott and Claire Trevor in Stagecoach. Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was written for radio by Frank Wilson with an original musical score composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Our producer-director is Dee Engelbach. Remember, next week, part of the country will go on daylight saving time. If your area stays on standard time, please consult your local newspaper for the correct time to hear Academy Award. This is Hugh Brundage bidding you good night. Until next week, when you are invited to listen again to Academy Award, presented by the House of Squibb, a name you can trust. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
As always, thank you very much for joining us this Sunday night. We'll be back again on September 10th, 2023, with more comedy, more adventure, more drama, more of everything we hope that you enjoy listening to. Thanks again, good night, and sweet dreams. This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.